Exactly. Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
we like limit it to one console. I'd imagine they'd make more money.
What we need to do is
Like,
just have like a billionaire roll in and buy out Microsoft and PlayStation and just turn them into the same company.
Combine them.
And be our hero. And our hero should be
one
like
master
Henry
console.
Cavill or something.
Yes, it should be him. He is the ultimate nerd. Well, maybe not the ultimate nerd. Not like the top nerd, but he is fucking nerdy as shit. He's the ultimate buff nerd. Because he's just fucking jacked. And he plays Warhammer.
Warhammer is fun as fuck, for the record. I love that game.
I want to get into it, but I feel like I would just lose myself because I've heard of how just crazy in depth it is, and like having to get all of those like minis or all that shit. Like I would not have any form of life
or money.
Yeah, or money.
Fucking figures are expensive, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they are pretty expensive. Maybe you'll get lucky in Power World to roll it over to PlayStation, but I can bet it's not going to make it to like Nintendo Switch or anything. I think Pokemon's kind of pissed off at Power World.
Yeah, I bet. Dude, I checked everywhere. Like when you started telling me about Power World, and all three of you guys were talking about it, and then like I saw like a couple of videos of it. And I was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna like look into it. And I checked my PlayStation, I checked my Nintendo because I have a Switch too. I checked Nintendo Switch, and I was like, you know what? That actually doesn't make sense that it be on Nintendo.
Well, I got an Xbox only to play Starfield, which God, I love that game. But there, I guess, is rumor that they're going to bring it to PS5, surprisingly. And I'm just like, well, fuck me, because I mean, I'm a Sony fanboy. I love my PlayStation.
Yeah. That's funny.
They're like, all right, now that Will's bought it, let's just fucking port it over.
Just wait for all these nerds to buy the Xbox, and then we'll port it over to PlayStation just to spite them.
Did Henry Cavill buy his copy? Okay, we're good. We can port it over.
So what are the tips and tricks you guys got for me for Power World? I've only knocked out like one dungeon and one boss, but I've just been fucking exploring everything. I probably got 50 or 60 different kinds of pals. Some of them I've never even used, just captured. I just been rolling around. Once I caught that bird that could fly, I'm fucking just mopping up the map, dude. I'm just going everywhere, unlocking everything.
I recommend you get a van worm with the saddle early. It's a pretty great high stamina fly mount, so you can fly around like pretty much constantly. Build bases around areas with high concentrations of ore spawns early on, and eventually you'll have to upgrade. Like I'm in a transition phase now where I'm transitioning to a base that has ore and coal, because coal's the next ingredient I need for the next tier of stuff. But basically, like, build your bases on areas that are primarily about as flat as you can find, that have good ore and wood spawns, and then just farm the shit out of stuff, breed things constantly, look up breeding guides for like what combos make what. Make yourself Anubis is like the best for building and mining, at least early on, that you can get to. Dig Toys is another really good one. And oh god, what's it? Will, what's the Firebird? Is it Polaris?
Polaris, yeah.
It's got like level 3 kindling, so it'll make iron bars and cakes that you need for breeding like pretty fucking fast in comparison to everything else. So I mean, if you get those 3 specifically and then just set up like 1 or 2 bases, because you can eventually get multiple bases, but set up your bases around ore spawns, and like that'll really kickstart your shit, and then you can go explore and then come back and you'll have all kinds of materials. But if you just basically farm, I don't even do the dungeons right now, but if you just farm all the different boss battles and try to catch them, and the ones that aren't good, butcher them for extra parts, like you'll rack up a lot of resources really quick.
That's one thing I never actually did, was like I got the butcher knife thing going on, but then I never actually used it. Like I used it in combat for, fighting and shit, but I never actually used it for butchering a pal. So that was kind of I didn't realize that was what it was used for.
Yeah, it's weird. So like basically you put a pal in, like you're one of 5 pals that you're actively using. And then when you're holding the butcher knife, if you click the right stick, it pops up with all the options, and there's an option to butcher the pal. But when you do that, it takes them away forever, but it also gives you all the resources they drop. So it's basically good for like basically like catch a bunch of bosses, and then if they don't have good passive stats or whatever, just butcher them, get the extra resources, rinse and repeat.
Oh damn!
I like to get a bunch of the fire foxes and butcher them for their flame organs.
If you get a flam bell, it's like a tiny little. It literally looks like a little flame.
I have
but if you just
for my ranch, right? For the ranch.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you just drop them in your base and put a ranch down, they'll just generate flame organs for you.
I was gonna say your mic's coming in rough, but it's probably whatever you're doing, like cooking or something. I was like, man.
Oh, that's my bad. I was packing a bowl. I was using my grinder.
Oh, I thought you were like, it sounded like you were sharpening a knife or something. I was like, damn, he's getting it, cooking dinner or something.
My bad.
Well, shit. Since we are thusly assembled, gentlemen, let's get on with this recap. You'll have to excuse me. I've been fighting the crud, so try not to choke out on you guys. So last session began within the icy layer of a freshly slain white worm. The party chiseled at the ice walls to collect a few bits of coin and various trinkets, harvested a plethora of dragon parts, rallied their remaining allies, and made a quick exit. As they make their way through the icy tundra, it's slowly becoming overtaken with greenery. The party has Locris apply his knowledge to a few curious trinkets taken from the horde. A beautiful emerald flute amongst these items becomes a setback. As Blade goes to tune the instrument, a single toot causes a massive explosion, setting off a 9th level shatter spell centered on the party, damaging them all but mangling Blade's face and hands in particular. After returning victorious to Siluran and making way to the Siluran Royal Hall, they were rewarded for their efforts with some platinum ingots, a writ proclaiming them allies of the realm, also granting access to the Macadamilect Academy, as well as a ride via royal carriage to the Academy. A greater restoration spell restores Blade to his handsome former self, courtesy of Corellian Larthian and Lord Svelison. The party puts their coin to work, acquiring new or upgrading a lot of their current gear, spending a few days of downtime, mostly drinking at the Twin Horn Club and having regular home-cooked meals with Dardos and Initiari. Once the skillful High Elven artisans deliver some goods to the party, they bid farewell to Locris's parents and make haste via royal chariot to the Academy. From there, they enter the House of History, accompanied by a few mages, led to a device in this massive library museum that's capable of lowering the party through the crust of the earth and more, into the Underdark. After some brief dialogue, the party does just that, traveling downward through the earth and stone for many hours, and then through utter darkness for many hours more. Eventually, lowering the platform, it comes to rest in a sea of dull gray stones, piled high in all directions as far as the eye can see. And that is where we are now. So this platform has just settled, and the party looks out to see just, the rolling hills of dull gray stones and darkness in all directions. So, that being said, how do you guys proceed?
Real quick before we move forward, congratulations, boys. This is officially the 50th session.
It's a good thing I went out and grabbed some whiskey then.
Hell yeah.
Properly celebrate.
50. Holy shit. That's a lot of sessions.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is crazy. That's 50 straight. You guys have, this is the 50% mark. You guys have completed exactly one half of what I had planned out for this campaign. So it's the downward trek from here after this one, guys. So before we actually get into what the party's plans officially are, or are, what you guys are doing, let's go ahead and retcon some of what you guys sold last session. So I believe you guys requested a chance to haggle. So I'll let a pair of you make a persuasion check, or one of you give someone the help action if you'd like. But go ahead and somebody in the party give me a persuasion check to determine the price for the dragon parts that you had remaining that we just kind of sold off screen.
I think we definitely would have sent Blade with literally anybody. He's kind of our sweet talker when it comes to buying and selling, trading and whatnot.
With my beautiful new face.
It's good. We did greater restoration, right? You're kind of fixed up a little bit.
A little bit. I got a giant fucking scar on my face, but it's good. The ladies love it.
Now you got the bad boy thing going.
You know how I got this? Dragon. Not some green flute.
Exactly. I mean, technically, the green flute was from a dragon, so, by transitive property, you got it from a dragon.
Exactly. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Anyways, Blade. We'll give you advantage, I think.
Okay, so rolling advantage.
Sure thing. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Whoops. Damn. One more time. Yeah, great. 23.
23 is enough. You get a little bit of a bonus in there. We'll call it an even 12,000 gold pieces for the remaining dragon parts. So go ahead and take note of that, whomever the treasurer of the party is.
Blade pockets it.
One more time on that total, buddy.
12,000 gold pieces.
12,000 heard.
So, dark gray stones in every direction, and nothing but the sound of darkness. There's a humidity factor this deep in the earth. Like, it's hot, ambient temperature, in the upper 80s, maybe lower 90s, and it's stale, unmoving air. So it's also very humid. You've only been in this area for a few moments, and all of you kind of begin to break a sweat in this type of environment. It is uncomfortable, but not unbearable. But yeah, as you guys kind of look about, go ahead and tell me how you guys proceed.
Well, obviously, I'd like to make a perception check just to get some bearings and what the heck is in our vicinity.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Give me a perception check.
What dice? I'm gonna go with my lucky aqua blue for session number 50, and it's a fucking 3. That's going back in the bag. So that's a total of 14.
With a 14, you kind of agilely scramble up this nearest pile of stones to get a better vantage point. And as you kind of come to the top of one of these piles of stones and look about in all directions, it's just nothing but piles and piles of these dull gray stones of various sizes.
Does anybody have trouble seeing in the dark? I could potentially brighten this place up big time, or do we want to try to use the darkness to our advantage?
I think we're probably better off in the dark, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Gladier's got a set of goggles that help him. And
Vader's already sliding them down over his eyes.
I've got, I think, an extra set of those if anybody needs them, but I'm pretty sure we can all see in the dark at this point. And you kind of, maybe you notice, like, his eyes kind of have this, like, almost like black overtone, and once in a while you catch, like, a little silvery glint. Because I took an Eldritch Invocation that gives me 120 feet of magical dark vision. So I can see through, like, Locris's darkness spells and stuff like that, too.
So you'd be able to see me in the darkness since I'm invisible in dark areas.
I'm not sure if your feet bypasses it, but if, like, I can see through, like, a darkness spell, I'm not sure about your feet as a Gloomstalker.
It's invisible to anyone who relies on dark.
Which we don't, because it's just like color. The difference is dark vision you only see in grays of various things. Our vision we see in darkness as though it were light. That's why it doesn't work with Devil's Sight.
Okay, so now there's two people who can see what you're doing in the darkness, which means their Sturge jokes are probably going to come back up a lot more.
Little did you know, this entire time I'm just touching myself. That's not canon, DM. Just playing.
Sorry, I was laughing off mic, bro. That was funny.
Yeah, Logan's goes full bare ass where no one can see him.
Just got assless chaps that he puts on whenever it gets dark.
I can be my true self in the darkness.
Can Glitter look around and see if there's any like established path away from this device that kind of dropped us, magical elevator that brought us down?
Go ahead and give me. It could be a couple of different skills. We'll call it perception, investigation, or survival, whichever you'd like.
Pretty sure. Yeah, perception and survival are garbage for me, so I'm gonna do investigation. Kidding me. That's about right for a Glader. Natural 1. First roll, sessions 50, natty 1. Or my first roll.
As you kind of, scan the area, do a bit of investigating, Gladier, unbeknownst to you, what you are unaware of, is after a few moments of being settled, the platform slowly begins to rise. You're clueless as to this point, Gladier, but everyone else's passive perception would kind of pick up that this was a one-way ride, and the elevator that you guys traveled down on begins to rise. So, now or never, if you wish to return to the surface, this is your only opportunity.
Well, fuck this, right? And he makes his way back to the elevator, assuming everybody's going to follow him.
Are we really leaving? I'm confused.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not scared of the dark.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Yeah, Sinclair doesn't see. He's just like kind of like walking in circles. Even with his dark vision goggles on, he's not finding any sort of pathway. So he just kind of looks over to the group like, "Well, I mean, do we have a direction in mind of where we're going?"
With my perception, did I see anything like resembling a pathway? Yeah.
Nothing really resembling a pathway. It looks like it's probably easiest to navigate. From what you rolled, you could tell it's going to be difficult terrain unless you navigate specifically, like in the crevasse that these massive mounds of stone have kind of created. So they are the mountain walls essentially, and you'd be walking down the center of the valley. Looks like the path of least resistance, but you can potentially go in any which direction, and none of these little valleys or whatever that, as far as you could see, they don't seem to lead to anything in particular. Just twisting, winding paths that go off in every direction essentially. But you just kind of see this like sea of stone all around you.
Why are we down here again? I forget.
Well, I mean, if you'd like, Archie might be able to fly up and see if there's any direction that we could go that's more promising.
We are down here because we need to get to the Shadow Fell. One, because we're hunting a goddamn vampire, and two, I got people to see.
Well, any indication of which way we should go, or should we just pick a direction and fuck it?
Do I get a strong pull in any direction, or?
Go ahead and give me your call. Arcana, investigation, perception, maybe. Whatever skill you decide to use is kind of depends on what information I give you, though. So just keep that in mind.
I guess let's go Arcana. The investigation would be something physical. 21.
With the 21, as you kind of like close your eyes and open up to the surrounding area, you definitely feel almost in like this like dank heat and humidity. There's like a potency to magic. You feel it. You can physically like almost tap into it. And it doesn't give you specific directions. It doesn't give you any sort of insight. But as you focus on like the what and the where, you hear a single whisper in the voice of Drassic Revan, and it says, "North."
Does anyone have a compass?
Yeah, there's not really
Ranger, use your
one
special powers.
Are there any trees around with moss?
Does that count for the Underdark? Does it still work down here?
I doubt it.
Well, I mean, if there's moss, I think it has to be a specific type of moss.
I mean, we bought navigation tools like way back in the day when we were boating around. But I don't know how well those work underground. I think that might be DM fiat.
Well, would there be a compass included with navigation tools? I'd imagine so. Like
As a ranger,
Presumably, it's usually a sextant and a compass.
Yeah,
Solar
I
power
mean,
down.
if you have navigation tools, you have a compass. I think you have a druid/ranger with an ability or two to find true north, right? Isn't that like a cantrip? Or maybe I'm mixing up editions.
There's a feat.
I'm looking at features and shit right now.
There's a feat where it's the one where you
I think it's Keen
remember
Mind.
what it is. Yeah, keen mind. Yeah, you remember everything that has happened to you in the past 30 days, and you always know which way is true north.
So yeah, I mean, if you have a navigator's kit, it is safe to assume you do have access to a compass for sure.
Bada bing, bada boom. Whip out that compass, Renwick.
Yeah, he'll just pull it out of the bag of holding and toss it over to Logus and just say, didn't really think this would be coming in handy down here, but well, good thing we hung on to it.
Whip out the compass, and does it show me north, or does it act all wonky down here?
It doesn't see. It shows you which way is north, but the proximity to just different minerals and things down here, while it does point north, it continues to waver between northeast, north, and northwest. It just wobbles back and forth. It doesn't give you like a finite north, just north-ish.
Well, I mean, that's all right. We're underground. It's not exactly like it's an open world. Almost have to follow the caves in a northerly direction.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
We've traveled farther distances with less direction. Might as well head northish.
Claytor
So who's
starts
going-
pointing off, but in the wrong direction.
Hey, Dragon Boy. Wrong way.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I was just making sure that you were, aware and all that. So, lead the way. I'll join you up front just in case, any nasties come around.
I've got pretty good sight down here. I wouldn't mind being up front as well. I mean, it gives us 120 feet, and just in case anybody tries to ambush us or anything with a darkness spell, see right through it.
Well, I can travel in the middle then, just in case, if we get jumped from behind or jumped from the front.
Yeah.
Close to each
Mechanically
other.
speaking, your goggles give you 30 or 60 feet of dark vision.
I believe it's 60, but let me double check.
Just so we know who can see what distance.
It's 60 feet. Yeah, it's
Okay,
just like
good.
it just gives me basic dark vision. Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. Yeah. So I guess.
Okay,
So
so as you guys
Locust
kind of
will-
head north and whatnot, I'm gonna need to know, like, give me. I've got let's see, I got Locris and Renwick up front with Gladiator kind of in the center. Go ahead and give me, where is Logos and Blade kind of fall into this marching order, and do you guys travel like the path of least resistance, kind of going down to the essentially what is like the valley that these massive mounds of rock create, there, or do you traverse the difficult terrain? Which way would you prefer? And are you doing this stealthily, or are you lighting torches? Like, give me all the details.
Well, Logus would have wanted to be ahead of them since, he using the darkness to his advantage, kind of like scouting ahead a little bit. And with the boots of the mobile, I ignore difficult terrain if I'm moving quickly or taking the dash action. Which if we're moving quickly out of combat, I'd assume that would be like dashing.
Okay, yeah, you could definitely pull some, scout reconnaissance.
Yeah, this is Logus's wheelhouse, and I want to use it to my full advantage, using the darkness as my, you know, as cover to kind of scout ahead and all that good stuff.
Okay, yeah, for sure. And Blade, where do you find yourself in this marching order?
Probably, I would imagine maybe just walking next to Gladier, or just close to him. Uh, Ideally next to him if the path allows.
Okay, great. Yeah, as you guys kind of make your way north, let's go ahead and Logos. I want you to give me a perception check, and we'll have Locris and Renwick also as kind of leading the group. Give me perception checks. So let's start with Logos as you kind of scout in the front. Go ahead and give me a perception.
That one is a 12 plus 11, I think. 23. 24 actually.
24. As you kind of, you get a little distance ahead, and you're able to kind of, use the rocky terrain a little better than your comrades. But you kind of bouncing around and scouting ahead, up over another hill and maybe even two, as far as you could see in all directions. It's still just this mounds of gray stone. But as you're kind of creeping forward, you notice something sticking out of one of these piles of stone, and it's kind of familiar. It looks to be a boot. A boot, you would have known just coming from Brightwood. It looks to be, the foot of one of the royal guards you see sticking out of a pile of stone. It looks battered and bloody, and it looks like, the body is mostly buried.
Logris would have, waited for everyone to catch up and point out to Renwick and Logris the body. Seems to be one of the royal guards that from Brightwood. Maybe we should get a closer look to see. Maybe we can figure out what the heck happened to him.
Yeah, we should definitely check for a pulse. And he kind of like ribs you, but he'll walk over there to get a better look.
Okay, yeah, you guys both, Locris, I guess the rest of the party essentially, kind of once Logos points this out, everybody give me a perception check.
The one you asked for previously, is that separate from this check?
Same check.
Okay, then 18.
Okay, excellent.
12.
4.
26.
Killing it.
Gladier, are you even close to any of that?
I got a 4.
I was just checking. Classic. Your dice, they tell a tale. They do not.
When
like
it finally
dice.
hits and you roll a decent perception, it's going to break the game. I hope you know that.
That's what how I'm gonna have the big bad evil guy end it all. Everything's gonna come down to a single perception check roll from Gladier.
I just see him so deeply that he just dies.
So essentially,
Gladier is gonna be like, "No, I see you. You're just hurting," and the BBEG is just gonna give up, get therapy.
calms Blade right down. Yeah. So as with that kind of perception checks, you guys kind of look around, and there seems to be a bit of blood splatter on these nearby stones, but you guys don't really identify much. But Logos, once you stop and kind of take a look around the area, this does not look to be a lone incident. You find several dismembered body parts in and around the vicinity. A hand here, some fingers there, some entrails. It looks like some shady shit went down in this neck of the woods, and some of the royal guard paid for it.
Um, does it look like it was done? I mean, I know it's a stupid question, but can we kind of try to determine maybe what did this damage? Is there like maybe using my ranger skills to find like maybe tracks or um like maybe the body, what damaged it? Was it claws? Was it teeth? Something like that.
So, if you want to inspect the body, we'll say an investigation or medicine check. But if you want to try to identify the creature itself, that would be more like a survival check.
Well, would you allow me to do one survival, one medicine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, survival first. That is a 19 total. 11 plus 8. Medicine is only a plus 4. 13 plus 4, 17. So 19 for survival, 17 for medicine.
With that, you determine that it's hard to kind of figure out what the cause of death was, because after these people were slain, it looks like they were consumed. What you find in and around the area would indicate that whatever found them ingested them whole, and mostly armor intact, as you see, bent and crusted and torn metal armors and things, and in what appears to be giant piles of refuse left behind by these creatures. So it's really hard to identify how these people died exactly, but they were for sure eaten by something with some powerful jaw strength, bones and things snapped clean off, and clean cuts in hard elven made mail. So it's a pretty a powerful bite to cut through elven made armor. You would know that. But essentially, this is like what appears to be like discarded by whatever consumed these guards.
All right, second question. With that survival check, would I have seen when whatever did it, which direction they would have scampered off to?
With that, you would know it's hard to identify a single direction. It looks like multiple large creatures came in and left from separate directions.
Could I try to maybe get on a higher mark, like maybe climb up one of the hills a little bit and maybe scan the horizon a little bit, see if I can maybe try to look in the direction one of these things went, maybe see if I see something?
Yeah, as you kind of make your way to the top of one of these piles of stone, go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'm going back with the aqua blue that fucked me earlier. Son of a bitch, dude. This one's done. That's a 19 total, 7 plus 12.
As you kind of listen and look off into the distance, you swear you hear the flapping of wings, and then a distant echo, maybe a distant cry off in the darkness that also kind of echoes through the chasm. You're not sure how close or far, but you're not identifying anything in particular or anything out of the norm. Just this long sea of rolling hills of stone.
Does it look like would there have been like maybe on the floor like signs that maybe those flapping wings that I heard was what attacked is? Like, is there like uh where you could see like wing marks or whatever, like something was taken off, or do I kind of get the gist that that has nothing to do with this situation?
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Oh, nat 20 for a total of 28.
There are a variety of underground dwelling creatures that do not exist elsewhere, but there are also common like cave creatures in the Underdark. The occasional flapping of wings and screeching you hear in the distance is what you presume to be some species of bat, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Does it sound like a small bat or a giant bat?
Not giant, just an average, run of the mill bat.
So it would appear that bats may or may not have had something to do with this. But there are definitely bats down here. I just did all that to deduce that.
Well, looks like a fun time.
And also whatever caused this was multiple large creatures, and after they were done, they scampered off in different directions. So whatever did this, they could be all around us, watching us now, or they could be off really anywhere.
Well, that just means we need to stay on our toes, keep eyes in all directions, and he'll summon his rapier, which is his new packed weapon, his upgraded Polaris.
Okay, yeah. As you guys kind of prepare yourself against the incoming darkness and whatnot, tell me how you guys proceed. You press on. Is there anything particular you guys need to do before pressing on?
Does there seem to be anything on the floor that looks on the bodies that was left, like anything valuable?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
That is a 4+1.
Most of the body parts are just in fact that, parts. There's a foot here, a hand there, some entrails here. The foot you found sticking out of this like pile of stone looks to be the only intact body possibly, but the rest of this individual is in fact buried under a small pile of stones. Hard to tell, but as far as you can tell, there's nothing in his right boot.
Does anybody need a boot? Which size shoes are y'all? No, I'm just kidding. Let's move on.
Okay, so party in tow. You guys kind of continue forward through this sea of rolling stones. And go ahead and let me know. As you guys kind of travel through this sea of rolling stone, like I said, the path of least resistance is to kind of just travel the natural crevasses that are kind of created by these piles of stone. So, but while the other area is kind of rough terrain, so how do you guys want to proceed? Do you follow these trenches and natural tunnels, or do you cut across these mountains of stone or these mounds of stone? Like you guys tell me. And are you guys making an attempt to be stealthy? Are we lighting torches here? Are we full dark vision? I assume we're full dark vision at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely full dark vision. But Locris would just be cautiously moving forward on the easiest path. He's not about to sprain an ankle down here.
Logus would have been switching between the two, following the group or leading the group a little bit, and maybe taking the path a little harder because with his boots of the mobile and also the cloak of the arachnid cloak. I also have a climbing speed equal to my walking speed now, which I completely forgot about. So like I can climb up walls and shit now. So I'd probably just be going full like recon mode, going up ahead, going high, just kind of scouting out.
Okay, yeah, for sure. As you guys kind of moved forward through this big old sea of stone, one more time, go ahead and give me perception checks. We'll say Logos can make one with advantage with the help action, or a couple of you guys can make some perception checks. Your call.
I'll give help to Logus.
Okay. First one was an 18. Second was a 15. So 18. That's a 30. 18 plus 12.
A 30?
Yes, sir.
Damn. Okay. So as you kind of tip over, you're tiptoeing around these the sea of stone. You don't see anything in particular. You hear something off in the distance, and as you kind of tune in and listen to this sound off on the wind, just kind of like echoing through the cavern, but ever so faintly. You've been in a scrap once or twice now. You're familiar with the sounds of battle, and there seems to be quite a battle raging not far from your location. You hear yells, you hear clashing steel, you hear various movement of troops, the clattering of these stones you are kind of making your way through. And though you can't see anything in particular, off in the distance there is a bit of dust arising into the darkness.
Since I can hear the battle, do I hear any languages that I would recognize, or does it sound completely foreign?
Real quick, refresh me what languages you speak.
Okay, so I speak Abyssal, Common, Draconic, Druidic, Elvish, and Half.
You definitely hear people shouting commands and things, but it's not in a language you're familiar with.
So, and Logos will kind of come down and be quiet because he's not sure just how far or if anyone's around. Um, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but there's definitely some kind of a battle raging on. Idea, should we maybe go see what this is about, or maybe skirt around it?
Well, if it's in our path, we should probably take a look, see if it's drow fighting creatures or if it's people trying to escape.
Well, to maybe help you, I do speak quite a bit of languages, and I didn't recognize any of them. So they more than likely are not some kind of humanoid, or maybe they're speaking a language that I don't know.
Well, there's no sense in wasting time. We better get a closer look at this.
Okay, and so Logos will kind of take off, leading the direction towards the commotion. I'd imagine at this point we're probably trying to be a little more stealthy, not to bring attention to ourselves.
Okay, so does Logos go to inspect this alone, or do you guys accompany him?
Locus will go with him.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with him.
Well, it might not be a bad idea if I go ahead, since I'm the most invisible down here. But if y'all want to go, I could give us something to help.
You're invisible in the dark, and quite frankly, I'm pretty small and fucking hard to see. So I'll be right there with you.
Just to be safe, especially with if Gladier's coming along, I'm gonna pop a pass without a trace as we're moving closer.
Good idea.
So Gladier and Blade accompany as well, then? No man left behind.
Yeah, it's dark and scary down here. The player wouldn't want to hang out behind.
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay, so give me some stealth checks as a group. Let's see how stealthy you guys can truly be as you maneuver your way towards this ruckus.
Let's see. So with Pass Without a Trace, that's a plus 23, and I rolled an 18. So 41.
Yeah, with Pass Without a Trace, I have a plus 19, and I got a 32.
Dirty 20 with a plus 18.
30 for Little Chris.
I have a 18.
So while Gladier and Blade become shadows in the night, the rest of you just straight predator cloak, from the spell. You're just becoming all but translucent. You guys all become one with the shadows and move silently toward this scuffle. And as you guys kind of make your way there, I guess we'll call it perception checks. A couple of you can make some perception checks, or one person can make it with advantage. Your call.
Any objections on me having advantage?
What's your bonus again?
Plus
Plus
12.
12.
Yeah, go for it.
19 and a 12. So that's 31.
Holy shit. You are fucking on point today, Logos. So, with a 31, you guys kind of creep closer in these shadows, staying silent, but, sticking to the darkness. And as you kind of move forward, Logos, still kind of taking point, you see a massive battle erupting before you. There are like a legion of hobgoblins, these like armored humanoids, are bearing down upon just a pile of bugbears, and these bugbears look to be in a caravan, and they are using like large humanoids, these ogres. Ogres are pulling these carts full of goods behind them. You see, bunches of goods in crates and barrels and wrapped up in like different leathers and skins and things. Like it's like a hauling caravan of bugbears, and they are currently not only hauling goods via these ogres, but they are battling off, not off, but their way through essentially this like ambush of hobgoblins, and it's like ferocious, fierce fighting. You see these hobgoblins have the high ground, and they are laying into these bugbears and these ogres with various crossbow bolts, and they have sent in some ground troops to kind of keep them at bay, and the bugbears seem to care less about engaging them and more about getting the supplies through. You see bugbears holding these massive shields and doing what they can to protect their cargo and their ogre kind of servants. But there are several like escort guards rather that have engaged these hobgoblins, and these bugbears kind of tower over the hobgoblins. But the hobgoblins are very armored. These are not like these are one of the few goblinoid races that take pride in their weapons. You see full plate armor and glistening sharpened steel that is coming into clashing contact with these more crude weapons of the bugbear. But not only are the bugbears about twice the size of the hobgoblins, this like caravan of bugbears outnumbers the hobgoblins at like 100-1. Like there is almost no chance of the hobgoblins completely overtaking this caravan. They are either trying to like a hunting party, or just trying to cause chaos, or maybe take what they can while they can. You're not sure, but yeah, this battle has erupted in the Underdark, and no one is any the wiser. But yeah, you guys see this just fierce fighting as this caravan tries to like trudge through this legion of hobgoblins that are just bearing down on them.
So I can't be the only one that thinks it wouldn't be wise to go getting ourselves in the middle of that, right?
Oh no, we gotta find a way around this.
Well, weren't bugbears directly tied to whatever was happening? I mean, maybe we stay around the side in the shadows and follow that caravan wherever it's going. It might lead to where we need to go.
That's considering if the caravan even makes it through. That's a lot of heavily armored hobgoblins down there.
Yeah, but they're outnumbered. So it looks like that caravan's probably just going to be thinning out a little bit, but they'll probably get where they're going. It's probably not the worst idea to try to stay in the shadows and follow them. I mean, if bugbears were the ones that were teleporting in and causing all the chaos, then, well, if we find a clan of them, perhaps we get some answers.
If we want, I could pick off a couple of them from way out here. They would definitely be none the wiser. They would just be confused and scared.
Well, it's tempting to just kill some. I think it's more important we just move on and get through this.
Approximately how many bugbears are there, Sean?
With a 30, I'll give you some better numbers. You're looking at a squadron of about 200 bugbears, and you're looking at about 40 or so hobgoblins that are kind of more stationed for like an ambush type of situation. And yeah, they're doing work, but the bugbears still kind of struggle. Their main focus seems to be the caravan, but definitely some intense fighting going on. But it's about 50 on 50 over there right now.
Call me crazy, but maybe to cause a hindrance to their plans, we could definitely maybe cause some confusion and disrupt their ranks and maybe turn the tides for the hobgoblins, potentially maybe seeing what's in that caravan. I think between the five of us and those hobgoblins, we might be able to make them scatter at the very least.
But the question is, are we going to go aligning ourselves with groups before we even know who they are or what they stand for?
Well, we know bugbears were trying to kidnap me. We don't know. The hobgoblins look to be opportunistic at the very least.
Yeah, and we took down a country full of dragonborn, but it didn't make every other single dragonborn against us. We can't just assume that every bugbear has something to do with this, but we could assume that they're going to take us to the largest cluster of them. We can't just go killing people before we figure out who they are.
A bunch of bugbears doing a caravan in the Underdark. It's probably safe to say they're not good people.
Yeah,
and
it's probably safe to say that we can't take on 200 of them.
I don't know about you, but I can from out here. I could at least kill about 50 of them suckers before they have a chance.
They're rolling with about a dozen ogres as well. They are pulling the carts.
I'm smart enough to know when I'm in over my head. And I don't think there's a fight here for us.
Yeah, I think it's probably. I think we have two safe options here. We sit back here and wait and see the outcome and follow the bugbears and ogre caravan back to wherever the hell they're going, or we just sneak around and keep going north.
I say sneak around. I don't feel like watching them fight each other.
I would have to agree. I'd say it's best to maybe press on instead of getting involved in their matters.
Yeah, plus we find You know, I mean, Locris is getting his directions from his patron, and his patron has a invested interest in Locris getting to where we need to go. So I think it might be a good idea to keep going that way.
Oh, definitely. But just say, what if these bugbears are going to the same place that we are, and then they wind up having to fight them anyways, or deal with them at some point? I mean, we could at least cause confusion. But if the party would rather wait and see, then we'll wait and see.
You know, two of us are tied to pretty evil creatures, like implicitly. But you seem to be the one that's barking up the whole darkness tree lately. You feeling okay, buddy?
I think I've become a little more realistic in that these bugbears are going to be a problem sooner or later.
But that's just assuming that these are the bugbears we're looking for. There's a lot of fucking bugbears in the world, buddy.
DM, would we know if bugbears are native to the Underdark? Like, would they naturally be here?
Yeah, they're definitely a native species.
They are definitely a native subterranean species. So, from the caves of the surface world all the way down to the Underdark, bugbears call it home.
Did you see the Home Sweet Home like little foot map, a little rug outside the elevator?
Dude, does the caravan does it look familiar to what we've seen on the outside with the other bugbears, or does this just look like a natural bugbear caravan?
Well, since you rolled some, otherworldly perception, some of the crates and packaging and things, it looks to be various supplies and whatnot, but amongst some of the things that these bugbear wagons are carrying are cages full of captive humanoids, and they are brand new shiny cages compared to the rest of the bugbear equipment. You do notice that amongst some of the supplies are slaves, essentially.
Oh, come on, Renwick. You cannot tell me that these aren't the same bugbears we've been dealing with since forever.
Well, you're the one that saw the fucking caravan. If you'd said there were slaves, it probably would have been a different story. Has anybody else changed their mind? Are we interested in agitating this situation? Or at least following them to see where they're taking these slaves? I still don't think we can take on 200 of them, even with a handful of hobgoblins that are probably going to try to kill us as soon as we're done with the bugbears.
I agree with following them. At the very least, it'll get us to a location, and then we could go from there. Unless they travel south, and then they're out of our way.
Yeah, I think that's our safest and best bet. We can still help out these slaves if we see a chance to, but we're not gonna. I mean, with the 50 or so hobgoblins and the 5 of us, I don't think we're gonna be able to take out 200 some odd bugbears and a dozen ogres. I mean, we're strong, but that's a bit
I'm
much.
just saying, I don't think we'd have to take them all out. I think they would scatter when you hit enough of them.
Well, you would hope they scattered.
I think we follow them. I think we go get a little sneaky and follow along behind and figure out where they're going.
Yeah, we haven't come this far to get ourselves overwhelmed. The smart thing to do is to follow them, gather information, watch them, see what we can glean, see where they're going, and find a way to free these people.
Yeah, I only have enough energy to bring someone back to life 2 times a day.
Not to mention, if we make people scatter and some of them make it back to wherever it is they're going to warn them that we're down here, and they're going to send people to look for us, or they're going to set up
Not weird
and wait for
that
us.
something's down here. No one has any idea that we're down here.
Well, they're being controlled by Amorphous, and Amorphous is fully aware that we're coming for his ass. So I think they'll put two and two together.
Maybe at the very least, I could damage the caravan, slow them down. How's that sound?
If you can convince the group, but I think laying low is probably our best option.
Well, I think slowing down is like if we're trying to figure out where they're going, slowing them down is just gonna not exactly help us. Just gonna take
Are
us
any
longer
of
to find
them
out where they're going.
are any of them fighting with bows?
A lot of the ambushers, so the hobgoblins, they seem to have a lot of sophisticated weapons, but they are using heavy crossbows in this battle. Some of them are going straight toe to toe, sword and shield, but there is some heavy crossbow action out there.
Okay, hear me out. This is a little bit of a plan. We know the bugbears outnumber the hobgoblins and that their main priority is just to make it through. But if they became sitting ducks, the hobgoblins may be able to pick more of them off, which would just be better for us later on either way.
And
What
are you
if I
going to
could
use
damage?
to destroy it?
I have a spell. I have something that I just learned that may be able to damage the ground underneath it from 120 feet out. Oh, DM, I just got a level 4 spell called Erupting Earth. I was maybe thinking of trying to do that on the caravan to maybe fuck some shit up. How far is the battle away from where we're at right now?
I'd say you guys are safely tucked away, but you're close enough to kind of see what's going on. So you guys got some pretty good stealth checks, but we'll call it a couple 100 feet.
Well, if you want to get close, we will move around and you can cast it at as we get past, but I'd rather not tip them off that we were ever here.
It could be seen as just some kind of natural thing because it's more of like a mini earthquake.
Okay, is it verbal? Do you have to speak? Is it somatic? Are you going to have to make gestures where you might expose yourself to them?
So it's 120 feet out. It's a 20-foot cube. Its components is verbal, semantic.
So you're going to be
To the point.
exposed.
I still don't think slowing down the caravan's the best idea if we're trying to figure out where they're going, find the source of all
The
this.
caravan will go where it's going no matter what, but the hobgoblins will be able to pick more of them off, which will be less.
I'd almost assist the hobgoblins to get the bugbears going so we can follow them, because the hobgoblins aren't going to free the prisoners. If anything, they're going to kill the bugbears and then kill the prisoners for food or something.
I mean, I could go down and ask for directions too.
That's what we'll do, Blade. Go ask for directions. Just tell them time out.
I think I left something at the elevator.
Well,
I
if y'all
say
rather
we keep
stay low,
moving.
I'll concede, but let it be known that these bugbears are going to be a problem sooner or later. We could have picked off a couple of them at this moment.
Renwick's going to walk over and kind of motion for you to lean down. He's going to put a hand on your shoulder, and he just says, I know what it's like to learn how to do something really cool and not have a good excuse to use it. And that spell sounds really cool, buddy, but I don't think now's the time. And then he's just going to start kind of stealthing off so he can follow this caravan.
Just out of frustration, Logus is going to shoot one of the bugbears in the back to make it seem like it was one of the hobgoblins. It was definitely Logus.
Okay, go ahead and give me, we'll call it a stealth check to fire this unnoticed.
I still have pass without a trace.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 17 plus 10 plus 9. It's like 36.
Definitely unnoticed. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. See if you can't crit on this.
That's a 23 to hit.
Oh, for sure hits. Go ahead and roll some damage.
Uh, 13 points of damage.
And the shadows kind of cling to you as you let loose an arrow and maybe even like ricochet it a bit off a rock to kind of change the trajectory, making it appear as if it came from a different direction. And you land an arrow firm right in between a bugbear's shoulder blades, who currently battling a hobgoblin, howls out in pain, and the hobgoblin takes quick advantage and slits his throat right in front of cuts him down with your aid.
See how easy it would have been, and we kind of just like temper tantrum walks off wherever they wanted to go.
So, do you guys continue to head just on a northern path in general, or do you guys intend to stalk this caravan?
Well, based upon where the caravan was, the wagon, did it look like they were going the way we want to go, or like they were going the opposite direction before this little battle?
As far as as the wagon kind of tries to press through this little area that's kind of being ambushed, it does appear that, at least for the time being, the caravan is heading in the northern direction.
I almost think we just wait.
Yeah, I think we should stick around and follow the caravan. I mean, 200 versus 50, that's probably not going to take that long to clear out.
Oh yeah, as this caravan kind of passes this location, it's almost like a squeeze point, an elevated point where these hobgoblins were kind of descending upon the caravan. Several bugbears lay behind on the path, filled with crossbow bolts. A package or two, a crate or a barrel, seemed to have fallen off of a cart or two in their haste to escape, and the hobgoblins cheer and kind of descend on their booty as this caravan kind of presses onward. So if you guys would like to stalk this caravan in this northern direction, everybody go ahead and give me another set of stealth checks. We'll say it's been about, roughly half an hour or so since the casting of Pass Without Trace.
$25. I rolled a natural 20 and a 14, so I had to take the 14.
21.
Said this was still with Pass Without a Trace?
Yeah, we still have about 30 minutes.
Sick. 30.
That's a 30 for me too. 11 plus 19.
Goddamn, same as before. 20.
Blade, you're like barely pulling it off here, man. Nicely done.
Bullshit.
Yeah, so you guys kind of fall in step behind this caravan, and you kind of pick up the rear. You kind of got to give them a little bit of room, a little more than just following them proper, as they are kind of pulling a guard. Despite losing a handful of soldiers, there are some like armed escorts that are kind of making sure this caravan goes on its way, and they are pulling like a perimeter. They do have rear guards. They're kind of looking out, making sure nobody's following them and whatnot. But you guys evade them pretty easily as they kind of make their way around these rolling hills of stone. And as you guys are stalking them, once again, either a couple of you give me some perception checks, or one of you give somebody advantage. Let's see if we can't get some perception.
Take advantage, Lucas.
Thank God. That first one was a natural one. I was kind of hoping when you always say that. So I had 17 plus 12 for 29.
As you're kind of stalking them, keeping an eye on them, Logos, you kind of run to the top of a hill and kind of look onward. It looks like the path they're on seems to be somewhat well traveled. A lot of these larger stones seem to have been pushed out of the way so these carts can be pulled proper. And as you're kind of looking at this makeshift roadway and seeing kind of where they're going, you for sure spot a party of humanoids in the darkness, looking like they are preparing a similar ambush as to what you had seen prior. But with a 29, you identify these humanoids as a little more primitive. They're not quite hobgoblins. They are, in fact, orcs.
Oh, man. Looks like the bugbears are about to face another ambush. Rogus would kind of point out the silhouettes of the orcs. Probably sit tight. There's probably another battle is going to pop off here in a little bit.
See, we just follow it, and eventually there's only going to be one or two left, and then you could kill them to your heart's content.
That's kind of where my head was at. Let them fight it out amongst themselves, and when it gets real nice and thin, we'll swoop up and clean up the rest of them and free the people in the cages.
And be heroes.
With the last battle, did they kill all the hobgoblins, or did the battle did they scatter?
They probably lost a dozen on each side, but they kind of just powered through. They didn't really stop to eliminate them. They kind of just ate the ambush and kept on trucking.
At this point, do the bugbears seem to be none the wiser to the ambush that's about to happen?
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Also, how far, roughly, can we tell how far away we are? Just a guesstimate.
We'll say you're giving them a good bit of a lead, so we'll call it about 150 feet or so ahead of the trail of you.
Okay.
That's a 23 total.
And, sorry, I totally spaced it. What were you trying to insight again?
Were the bugbears aware that they were about to walk into an ambush, or did they seem none the wiser?
As they're kind of marching, an order does kind of come out, guttural. You're not sure what language they're using, but the warriors do position up, and they have these large kind of plain looking like shields, but they are fairly large, and they use them to not only cover themselves and the ogres that are hauling the carts, but in some cases with the live cargo, some slaves and things. They also kind of shield them from incoming arrows, but yes, it looks like they are expecting an attack, and they are ready to just kind of roll on through.
They seem to be aware of the ambush, so they're probably just going to keep powering through like last time.
Now that they're surrounded by hobgoblins and orcs, I don't necessarily hate the idea of slowing down that caravan. I didn't think the hobgoblins had it, but with the added help of the orcs and then us being able to clean it up, There might be some merit to that. Free these people before they get where they're going. Then again, we'd be putting our necks on the line. So, what's everybody else think? It's a yes or a no. We either keep following, or we slow down that caravan and see what happens.
Are the hobgoblins still in pursuit, or did they give up?
Once they kind of passed the pinch point, the hobgoblins are not far off, but they did not continue to pursue. They would rather loot what they had managed to knock off the caravan than combat the caravan outright, it would seem.
Okay, never mind then. Scrap that.
Does this
I'd
seem like
say-
a formidable orc ambush, or is it just another scrappy little party?
Give me another insight check.
It's a 12 plus 8 for a dirty 20.
These orcs don't look to be similar to, like, Tardok was a very barbarian type of orc, very proud, and the way of fighting was like almost considered honorable. These orcs look to wear heavier armors and seem to like slink around the shadows. These guys do not look like a barbarian tribe of orcs, so you could assume that they're probably fighters. And from the looks of it, they're not quite as well armored as the hobgoblins, or armed, but their numbers at least compare to the numbers of the bugbear tribe moving through. You're looking at probably 150 on 200 at this point. Like, it's a fairly large squad of orcs, but not super large and imposing like Tardok, but still enough of them to be formidable for sure.
I'd say we just watch the fight, see who comes out on top, and decide if we could take them then.
I agree.
That spell might come in handy now, though. Bogus' spell, if he can sneak up and get close, because if they just barrel through like the last ambush, then I mean, yeah, it'll thin down the herd some. But if we can get them to stop and force them to fight each other outright, like you were saying, they might just all kill each other, and then we're left with the caravan.
Well, I'm sure with this ambush, they are just going to have an all-out fight.
Yeah, but bugbears are more less about fighting and more just protecting and moving through, like creating a shell similar to a turtle and just powering through rather than standing and fighting outright.
All right, we probably don't have long, so let's put it to a vote real quick, because I'm sure they're gonna hit that ambush soon. Who thinks we should slow the ambush down, watch the fight, and pick off the survivors, or who thinks we should just let them just roll on through and what happens happens? I mean, they'll still get picked off, but
Well, you know where my vote is.
I'm still team sit back and wait for what happens.
all right. So yeah, 1 for nothing, or 1 for letting it happen. Blade.
Oh, I believe I'm gonna have to side with Locris on this one. It's while I mean we do have the cover of darkness and the advantage of seeing them currently, there's still a couple hundred of these beasts. They have the numbers.
All right, so 2 for letting it happen. What about you, Renwick? What are you thinking?
I say let it happen. If the numbers dwindle enough where it becomes manageable, we readdress. But there's no sense in us put up this early on.
All right. Sorry, Logus, I tried. But vote's a vote, so I guess we just keep watching, and yeah, I'm sure they're gonna cut down the numbers enough where we can handle one or the other.
Okay, as you guys kind of post up to kind of watch on, find a good position for this oncoming battle, as the bugbear caravan marches with its soldiers on the outside, shields adorned. They kind of begin to quicken their pace to a run, and up ahead you can see some of the orcs get anxious. You can tell that from the bugbear's point of view, they can't really see the orcs. And go ahead and give me another perception check there, Logos. Perception check, and we'll say give me both Renwick and Locris, give me some Arcana checks as you kind of look on from this point.
Is this a flat one, or do I still get advantage?
This will be a flat perception, just your ability.
Uh,
15
plus 12. You got a 27 total.
Okay, and what was the Arcana checks?
I got a natural 20
for 28.
Dude, you got a nat 20 too? I have a +0, but I got a 20.
Oh, hell yeah. So fucking, you guys get it down right away. And, Logos, you're looking on, Renwick and Locris, you're looking on, and without, a mistake, without, you understand what goes on right away. Several of the individuals on the interior of this caravan, bugbears looking to be pulling guard or helping in the various, transporting ways, they are similar to the bugbear mage you guys had encountered. And as this squadron of bugbears, this caravan, picks up pace and begins barreling through, several invisibility spells are cast, and the entire caravan disappears. The oncoming orcs are kind of stunned and confused as they look on at what should be a caravan rushing through. In some cases, they could hear the pitter-patter of feet and the rolling of the cart wheels, but they see nothing. And then, out of nowhere, it's a slaughter. The bugbears have completely surrounded this orc tribe, and they begin pummeling them. Coming into visibility on the outside, they had surrounded them, and they're using their superior size and strength and the surprise factor, and with their massive morning stars, in some mighty swings, taking 2 and 3 orcs at once, they drive the orcs off of the cliffs they were intending to use as an ambush down into the suspecting caravan, and are trampled by ogres and slain by all who fall are slain by the surrounding guards. The bugbears were prepared and suffer no losses whatsoever, completely just mowing down over 100 orcs and continuing down the path.
Renwick's going to look over at Logos and go, now I know that you think that you could have kicked that one off, but we also could have gotten completely slaughtered. They just turned an entire fucking caravan invisible. So sometimes it's better to take a step back and get to know your enemy first. That could have been much worse for us.
Or better for us if I would have thrown off their whole plan. But we'll never know.
All right, let's keep following.
As you guys kind of continue to follow this caravan after this incident, go ahead. We'll say you might have to burn another spell slot. As this caravan kind of peels out and moves on, another half hour or so passes before they get on the trek proper, and you guys begin tailing them. So go ahead and give me some stealth checks. If you
I'll for sure burn another pass without a trace.
Okay, for sure.
Thank God.
Oof. Yeah, Blade's been rolling 2s, and I don't want to leave it to chance.
They have not been good.
It's 35 for me.
37 for Logos.
24 for Glader.
Man, boy, I'm like the fucking wing. Y'all think I can't sneak up on a caravan and fuck them up? Man, I'm darkness incarnate right now.
Okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. 21.
I mean, it got a little better.
Yeah.
As a whole, you guys remain fairly silent, kind of as you kind of follow this caravan down this slaughtered path of just orcs everywhere. A few of them live and kind of, try to drag themselves away from the scene, but, for the most part, it's a pretty efficient massacre of them. As you guys kind of follow this caravan for another hour, maybe two, time's hard to tell when there's no sun or stars. But after a significant distance through these rocky crags everywhere, it looks like the wagon circles up, begins posting guards, and it looks as if they are going to camp. Perhaps catch a bit of rest. You're not sure how long, but for the time being, the caravan has stopped, posted guards, and begin refreshing the troops. Water breaks, food, sleep, etc.
Can we tell? So, how much has their forces been dwindled between the hobgoblins and the orcs? It was like not a lot, right?
What started as 200 is probably a buck 75 at this point.
Oh, jeez. All right, guys. They are fucking. They know what they're doing. I mean, they got a system, and that system works. They just rolled through 2 ambushes and barely lost any of their forces.
Yeah, a system that works for primitive creatures like orcs and hobgoblins, but not for motherfuckers like us.
I mean, we'd only have to take 35 each.
That's easy money. I could have picked off 35 before they even made it towards us. 300 feet out.
Logus, I think you need to take a cold shower, like maybe ice bath or something.
Yeah, man, somebody's getting a little cocksure.
You're a
Yo,
little
I'm
frustrated right now.
cracked on good berries right now. Y'all wanna fucking go? Let me know.
You just ate 50 days worth of food in like 3 hours.
It's like creatine.
good berries.
Now, hear me out.
Creatine.
It's not to say that we have to necessarily kill the bugbears. I mean, you can magically make us stealthy as fuck. So, Blade, do you still have that portable hole I gave you?
Oh yes, I've still got it. It's got Gigabraltar in that, but yeah, I have it.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, you can hold your breath for about 10 minutes in there. So if we could sneak in and get to one of those cages, we could just have people pile up into the portable hole. And as long as we can get them away in about 10 minutes, let them back out, they'll be perfectly fine. That's if we want to fuck with this. Quite frankly, I'm getting more and more hesitant about putting my neck on the line for people because the bigger picture is more important. But at the same time, if you can help, it's not the worst idea. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know how many people would be able to fit in there. I don't like how. Can we see? Was Logus able to get like a rough number on how many slaves there were?
Yeah, he had like a 30-something perception, so you're looking at about 80 humanoids. Some of them surface dwellers, and also, strangely enough, surface livestock. You notice a couple of cows, a couple of goats, a couple of sheep, things that probably were stolen from the surface. Not native animals to the Underdark.
Are there any donkeys in there?
Blades all
Let
in.
me make a roll. No donkeys. No donkeys. Lucky enough.
Damn it. Okay, guys, let's go around. It's fine.
Yeah, I think isn't the portable hole only like a 10-foot by 10-foot
Yeah,
square
10 by
essentially?
10.
Like 10 by 10 by 10.
Yeah, it's a relatively small space, but I mean, we could save a couple of them. If I'm being honest, I don't really think it's worth it. But there's like a little part of me that's still good, despite being jaded from all the bullshit that we've gone through. So once in a while, I have that thought, like, maybe we should help, and then I think, better not.
Logus is already on the side, like stretching. Let me fucking know, boys. I'll go down there right now.
I mean, you guys know me. I'm all about saving and helping the innocent, but I mean, at this point, if would we be sacrificing an entire world of innocents upstairs to try and potentially save 80 people down here? I mean, if we go in there to try and save these 80, we might die, and then who's gonna stop Amorphous from enslaving the rest of humanity?
Attempting to save while getting yourselves killed is just an extreme form of suicide.
Now, I am still on board with. Wait, have they still been following a general northward direction?
Yeah, they
This
seem
whole
to be making themselves heading north-ish before making camp. Where they go from here, you're not sure, but yeah, they've mostly. Should you had not decided to tail them directly, you guys probably would have been heading parallel in the same direction.
Well, I mean, we might as well, as long as they're still going in the same direction as us, we might as well just keep following. I mean, if they end up going to where we're going, maybe we get a chance to help these people. If not, I think we unfortunately have to go with the greater good here and continue on. What do you guys think?
Dog
Yeah.
later. I think we know what the group thinks at this point.
Logus just wants to fuck shit up.
I say we don't agitate them. No sense in poking the bear. We just monitor closely. We get some rest ourselves. We get ready for whatever's to come.
Yeah, we can take turns taking watch and get some rest while they're resting.
Okay, so as you guys kind of put yourself at a safe distance to maybe get a bit of rest, but keep a close eye, go ahead and tell me how the watch is going to break down. What do you guys do on your downtime? Is try to squeeze in a long rest? You tell me how do you guys proceed?
I'll, if you guys are good with it, I think Logus here could probably use about 4 or so hours to meditate and cool off a little bit. And then we can all probably grab some rest from there.
Lay off those good berries too.
Hey, I'll lay off you, bud.
Hey,
No,
hey,
you,
want no trouble.
you're probably right. I'm sorry.
I'll take first watch with somebody, and then to let Logus get some rest before he can finish out the watch. But it should not be me by myself. I'm blind as a motherfucker, even with these goggles on. So I think somebody should stay up with me and keep an eye on this caravan.
Well, I mean, I'd be more than happy to. I'm not the most perceptive, but not the worst either.
If you'd prefer, I can give you some beauty sleep. I've got decent vision in the dark.
Oh yeah, you can see super far now with your weird cracking eyes.
His eyes kind of flash black for a second at you, and he winks.
All
Blade
right.
is already asleep.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll stay up with you, Renwick.
Well, gotta let him get his beauty sleep.
All right. So yeah, I guess Renwick and I taking first watch.
Okay, if you guys taking some first watch, go ahead and give me some perception checks.
Can I give him advantage?
You sure can.
Sweet. Let's do that.
Okie dokie. Advantage it is.
Just out of curiosity.
Let's see. That's a 1 and a 2, but I do
Oh, no.
re-roll ones.
Okay, thank God.
For 15 total.
With a 15 perception check, nothing in particular stands out. I mean, the hot, dank air and, the occasional screech and flutter of a bat or maybe a cave-dwelling insect of some kind, but for the most part, uneventful. You guys go a couple hours, keeping a close eye on the camp. Nothing seems to change in any direction. So after about 4 hours or so, how do you guys proceed from here? What's the second watch look like?
Logus would have woken up after his 4 hours and just kind of perched up. Maybe is there like a wall or something that we're nearby, or are we kind of like out in the open?
We'll say you are far enough away. Hold on, sorry.
Locris is over there playing on a train.
We'll say you're far enough away from these guys to you kind of found like a small spot to maybe make a bit of camp. It's not the most comfortable camp. You guys aren't like building a fire and pitching tents or anything. Kind of just snuggling up on a rock and trying to doze off. But I mean, you do have like a small, flat surface kind of surrounded by stones. But yeah, your camp's nothing super glorious, but small and hidden away from this larger kind of caravan area.
By climbing up that wall, will I be able to get like a vantage, like a high up vantage point over their camp?
Oh, for sure. You could, scramble up one of these piles of stone and nearby and kind of get a high up vantage over the camp and keeping an eye on the caravan for sure.
Because with that cloak, I can just straight up just walk up walls while leaving my hands free. I can move up, down vertical surfaces while leaving my hands free. So I kind of like want to hang like a spider, kind of.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Go ahead and give me a perception check. We'll say a perception check with advantage due to your elevation as you're kind of overlooking everything.
Oh god! First one was a natural one. Second was an 8 for a dirty 20.
You squeak through there. As you're kind of listening to the natural flow of things in the Underdark, bats flutter and screech, and the occasional cry or boulders crash off in the darkness. You're not sure, but one thing stands out to you: a large kind of like clack or crash off in the distance. And it echoes for a bit, and you don't think anything of it. Kind of similar to what else you've heard, but then you hear that same clack or crash off in the distance, but from an entire different direction. And then once again, the same clack or crash off in yet a third direction, coming from various positions, pretty far off in the distance, but definitely multiple locations. And as you kind of listen to this clacking, whatever is making this noise, you can see that the caravan is not fucking around. They are packing up and getting ready to roll out.
Logus will run down to the party and wake them up, very quietly. Guys, one of two things. We either need to stop the bugbears right now, or we need to fucking get out of here.
Why? What's going on?
You guys hear
Something-
a loud clack or crash from yet a fourth direction.
Whatever that is spooking the fuck out of the bugbears, and they're about to get out of Dodge. My guess is whatever dismembered and disemboweled the high elves might be coming back. So we have an opportunity to really fuck their day up right now, or we need to move on. Because they are not trying to stand and fight. They are spooked and they are trying to run.
Well, if they're running and they know what the hell's down here, I think we need to run too.
That does seem like the move.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I think if the caravan that just easily pushed through 200 different foes is getting up and getting the fuck out, you might want to get the fuck out as well.
So we
No votes to
pack
making
up.
them stand, making them not leave.
Yeah, but then we might have to stick around and fight the thing that killed 200 bugbears and 12 ogres.
And we'd also be dooming the slaves, but fuck them, right?
I mean, I'd preferably not doom them. If we can help it.
All right, you go fight the 175 bugbears and ogres, and you fight the thing that's coming to free those slaves. I'm going to stay away and continue on to survive to the next level. So
Level.
yes, fuck
Is there-
those slaves.
Is there another level to the Underdark? What level? What does that mean?
Oh, I'm assuming we're at 0. We got to get to sub basement 68 or something.
Yeah, I think we just keep doing what we have been doing, sneaking along behind them and praying that whatever's spooking them doesn't see us.
Okay, so as you guys kind of ready yourselves for travel, do you continue to sneakily follow the caravan, or do you just outright flee across the terrain? You tell me.
I think we're still being cautious. I wouldn't go running like, hey, we were following you guys. Bye.
I assumed, but just had to throw the option out there. Okay, yeah. As you guys kind of come together, I think Logos, you officially got a long rest. Nobody else managed to pull it off. But as you guys kind of come together and go ahead and give me some stealth checks as you continue to tail this now double march, double the pace type of caravan. They pack up and they load out and they are moving at a swift pace. They are getting out of Dodge quickly.
Has passed without a trace ended, right?
Yeah, but I got fresh spell slots. I'll pop another one.
Right, then 30.
Nicely done. 30 on stealth. Becoming one with the shadows.
Dirty 20.
Glad to hear
29
you.
for Logos.
Oh,
26.
this is bold pucky. 21.
Blade, the Underdark, you got like butterfingers, but for feet, you keep pushing boulders over and shit. Quietly, but still.
Everybody's out to get me tonight.
Yeah, with those checks, you guys stealthily make your way behind the caravan that's moving at a rapid pace. You know, it's difficult to keep up with, but not impossible as you guys kind of tail this caravan. But you do notice that the clicking in the off in the random distance, once kind of pointed out by Logos, it doesn't seem to stop. In fact, it comes from at first the north, and then the east, and the west, and the south. It seems like whatever is making this noise is coming from all directions. There seems to be multiple types of creatures out there, and without too much, some of your guys' passive insight would kind of dictate. You're pretty sure whatever is out there is either hunting you guys or maybe this party, this caravan, but seems to be keeping their distance. Logos, you in particular, kind of having your druid and ranger type of roots, you get the feel that these creatures are at a far off distance, but they're communicating very much like wolves in a pack. A howl here, a howl there, but what you hear is just a clack, like a crash or the breaking of stone somewhere. And it seems that once one direction it kind of sounds off, another direction kind of responds, and you're fairly sure you guys are being stalked through the Underdark as you yourselves stalk this caravan. So, go ahead and give me a couple of perception checks, or one of you take the help action to give me a perception check.
I'll take the help.
It's a 4 and a nat 20 for 32 total.
With a nat 20, fucking these legendary numbers, you're kind of, you occasionally scramble up this nearby piles of stone to kind of keep a good eyesight on your quarry here. And as you scramble up a pile of stone to look at this caravan, gauge their direction and pace, you see off in the distance what looks like hives, like massive, almost looks like a honeycomb or like a wasp nest, but it is like a massive spire sticking out of the ground, and it's not just one. It is 3 massive spires that look similar to wasp nests or bees nests that are just, if it was a tower, it would be 40 stories high. These things are just massive, and there seems to be creatures buzzing about in and around the area, and that looks to be where the bugbears are heading.
I don't know if y'all see those spires over there, but that seems to be the direction that they're heading. There's multiple other creatures there. It's safe to say once they get in there, we will not be able to do anything. Also, y'all should know that either we are being hunted or they are being hunted by whatever spooked them. I can hear them still. They're communicating with one another, it would seem. So if we're not going to do anything here, we know where they're heading. It might be best to break off now before either they get caught and we get caught by proximity, or we get spotted by those spires.
Well, if we can't go any further in this direction, then we need to get the fuck out of here before whatever it is that's been tracking us swarms us.
Yeah, those bugbears have been running through opponents like they're nothing, and the fact they're running away scared, that's probably not something we want to interact with quite yet.
Might be whatever killed the body we found back there. So let's get moving. Let's get to safety.
Glad, especially you, since you're the moral compass of the group. We're pretty much dooming those slaves no matter what now.
We don't have
If
the
we-
time or the numbers to save them. I think we all know that.
If we try to go down there and stop them, we're just gonna get ourselves killed, and then we can't help anybody. Can't help anyone if you're dead.
All right. Well, let us go then.
So at this point, the caravan would, probably reach the tower in, 10, 15 minutes or so. Where do you guys decide to go? Are you going to, tail the caravan further? What is the plan of action for the party?
Okay, so do we know somewhere that looks somewhat safe? Because we know they went towards what looked like bee nests or wasp nests. So we don't know that we couldn't go that way. We're just not following. Do we see any other direction where we think there might be safety, or does it look like we're kind of screwed every way?
Give me a perception check as you kind of, gauge your surroundings.
21.
So, from what you can tell, you see these large, like hive-like towers off in the distance. You see, it looks like a large, like steep wall, like a sheer wall. It goes as farther up than you can see. It just is just, and it's kind of like what these hives are placed up against. As you kind of look around, you see there looks to be large, like caverns, large cave mouths here on this like sheer cliff that seems to go nowhere but up. But there are several large dark cave mouths that seem to lead down into who knows where. You can't really see from this distance. But as you kind of scan the horizon, you see a couple of these large kind of like fissures or caves in this wall that these nests are kind of placed up against. But as the wall kind of stretches around out of sight, you do notice not too far off from these nest-like spires, there are it looks to be some sort of luminous mushrooms. Not like one or two, like hundreds, maybe thousands. And they are not the typical garden mushroom. These mushrooms are the size of large trees off in the distance. A forest of glowing mushrooms, if you will. But as far as you could see in your local area, that looks to be kind of your options. You've got the endless sea of cold gray stones you guys have been traveling over. There's this wasp-like spires. There's a couple of deep, dark holes leading down into the Underdark. And then there's this like mushroom kind of forested grove type of area. So your call. Which direction do you wish to travel?
I'd almost think a tunnel, because I'm imagining whatever this creature is that's hunting us is big. So go somewhere small.
Okay, for the record, it is not a small cave mouth. We're talking like a massive opening in this sheer wall. It's nothing about it is small at all. You could fit 50 carriages without touching them in the entrance all at once.
Okay, I rescind my previous statement. All right, do we want to try the wasps? Find a hole?
I suppose we could try getting past the wasps and sticking with the caravan then. I don't know that we necessarily have a good option, so it's really just a matter of picking an option and then just dealing with whatever shit show comes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
My vote would be to just follow the caravan. I mean, they've obviously experienced this before, and probably have the best tactic of moving forward.
All right, yeah,
Well,
I vote for the caravan too. Oh, sorry, Lokers.
I take no offense.
Okay.
Just to
Go ahead, Blade.
so just to kind of like rewind a little bit. So when we were first observing these bugbears and whatnot fighting, you said they had like heavy duty crossbows, like bigger than normal.
The hobgoblins. The hobgoblins are
Oh, okay.
very surprisingly capable when it comes to crafting weapons and armor, even though they are technically considered goblinoids. Very kind of war tribal kind of type of people. They do excel at weaponsmithing and armor smithing and whatnot. But yeah, the bugbears themselves, they wear more like hide armors, things that they've patched together, and most of them carry morning stars in fair condition. They're not great. Some of them are chipped, some of them are rusted, but they are very large, spiky balls on a stick. So.
Gotcha. I had it mixed up. I thought they were carrying the crossbows, which would be an indicator to me. But nope.
All right, let's go to Honeywood Forest over there.
Okay, as you guys kind of, I won't make you keep rolling stealth checks. You guys keep exceeding by a lot, except for Blade, who keeps struggling. I don't know what's up with that.
Bullshit. Two twos in a row and 2 3s in a row.
So good thing for Pass Without Trace. You might have been fucked. But as you guys kind of approach this, still keeping a good distance, what you see is this caravan kind of pull up to the front of these towers. And the front of these towers, there look to be like a couple of door guards, one or two on either side of the main entrance of these 3 separate towers. But what you guys notice right off the bat is that they are like mixed races. Though one of them's a burly bugbear. Another one seems to be one of the dark dwarves, a Duragar. Another, looks to be maybe a dragonborn, like a surface dweller, somebody maybe not native to the Underdark. But you see like a variety, some orcs, some hobgoblins. You see like a variety of guards guarding these towers. And what walks out to greet this caravan, one of the chieftain walks forward, and one of the doors opens, and you see what is commonly referred to in the surface world as an illithid or a mind flayer. And it walks out to greet the chieftain, holds a hand out, and its tentacled face maybe emits a bit of a screech, but for the most part, no dialogue is exchanged. The chieftain of these bugbears makes eye contact with this illithid, this mind flayer, and then without a single word, several more like servants seem to file out of these towers, all various fantasy monster races. You've got humans, you've got elves, you've got dwarves, you've got lizard folk, you've got bugbears, goblins, orcs, just a plethora of individuals just file out with arms slack at their side and just kind of a dazed, glazy-eyed look, and they begin unloading the cargo from this caravan for the bugbears. And the bugbears kind of give the servants like a wide girth. A lot of them seem to kind of be afraid, shirk the area. The chieftain is brave enough to walk up to one of these illithids, but many of the warriors kind of fear them and kind of step back. But you watch as various bits of cargo are unloaded, and as such, a few wagons are somehow they just pass through one of the walls of this like hive-like tower, just as if it was illusory or maybe a command word of some kind. But several wagons are dragged out by large ogre-like companions of the Illithid, and it looks like they are just kind of being offered up as like maybe some kind of payment to the bugbears. But the bugbear chieftain then commands his soldiers to, help themselves. And you guys see these bugbears begin grabbing gear and loading it from the Illithid carts onto their carts. And it is stuff like brand new shiny chains, brand new cages, better weapons, better armor, various bits of gear, some traps, some chains, and things like kind of nefarious deeds. But you guys are, for the most part, at least for the time being, undetected, and you're kind of watching this transaction take place. So, what do you guys do from here?
So we're definitely in over our heads, right? We're all in agreement there.
Yeah, that's about a fuck ton of bugbears, or ogres, and fucking mind flayers. Shit. Yeah, I don't even know what to do here. I mean, we can't get through this. I mean, someone's gonna fucking see us.
Yeah, I'm currently at a loss.
Lokers, can you try and I don't know, commune with your patron, see if we can. Are we close to where he needs you to be?
I could try. I'd be surprised, but when you're at a standstill, I guess it's all you can do is pray. I will take a minute and try again to focus and see if I could connect to Jurassic.
Okay. At this time, go ahead and give me a religion check.
Oh, that's going to be... Well, at least I got my headband of intellect. Otherwise, that would have been flat. 22.
With a 22, you kind of focus up and reach out to Jurassic. It takes a bit of time. You have to kind of sit and meditate. And in your mind's eye, you see the ever-shifting, shadowy form of Jurassic Riven, bound by lashes of this purple energy, unable to maneuver his way. But as he kind of looks to the ground, as you kind of focus up and see him, he twitches ever so slightly, kind of chuckles. Young pup, you're close. Close enough for me to call to you. What are you doing? Come to me. I need your help.
Yeah, we're trying to do that, but there's not exactly a lot of directions here, and now we got like 300 creatures trying to kill us, mind flayer and something big hunting us. So a little, turn left at the left fork would pretty much help right now.
You're in the Underdark and you're close. There are many ways here. Amorphous perch bends the will of the mind flayers. They send the slaves to him through portals and dark magics so they can trade secrets of Shadowfell But it's not the only way. You don't have to fight the illithids. Seek out the mushroom grove. And then out of nowhere, a purple crackling whip of energy strikes Drassic, and he howls with rage. Your vision shakes. Boulders of shadows seem to fall from the ceilings, and your connection is cut.
All right. Pretty much, he said, go check out those glowing mushrooms. We're getting closer. He said, check out the glowing mushrooms instead of facing the mind flayer. So I think that's our best option right now. So shall we go mushroom hunting?
Yeah, are we kind of like do we have like elevation where we're at right now to where we can look around, or are we kind of like just on ground level with um like where these illithid and everything are?
You guys currently are in like this field of like rolling stones. You guys are pretty well hidden. You guys could definitely gain a little bit of elevation by scrambling up one of these piles of stones. But as far as you can see, there is like the massive cavern you guys have been traveling in seems to end here at the spire. This like illithid compound. There are like some large tunnels beyond that look like it leads down to the earth, and then there is this nearby mushroom grove, this large thick forest of tree-sized mushrooms.
Well, yeah, I guess we gotta go fucking see a field about some mushrooms.
All right. So we make our way towards the mushrooms.
Stealthily.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and give me some stealth checks as you guys make your way towards this mushroom forest.
Pass without a trace still active.
Yeah, I will say it's still active. It hasn't quite been too long. You guys are just kind of surveying the scene.
All right, 24 for Lucas.
39.
31.
$30.
Oh, that's 14.
Ouch, Gladiator. Ouch.
Rolled a 3 on the die with a +1 and a +10.
So you guys kind of make your way towards this large mushroom forest, away from the bugbears and illithid and the various other creatures in the illithid's employ. And though most of you are fairly stealthy, Gladiator can't just seem to find his footing, and occasionally pushes a rock down a chasm that echoes as it crashes down a couple hundred feet to the bottom. Not the most subtlest of approaching individuals, but it's just one of the five of you, I suppose. So, as you guys kind of continue on, these large mushrooms come into sight, and as you enter this sort of like mushroom forest, it's almost like an eerie silence comes over the area. These fungi illuminates, and their mycelium or whatever seems to spread across the ground much like grass. And anytime you take a step into this forest, similar to like how you would see in Avatar, not the Last Airbender, the purple monkey or the blue monkey people avatar. Similar to how you would see like when they take a step, their footprint like lights up briefly. That sort of effect seems to be kind of constant. Anything you guys touch seems to shift or change color ever so slightly as you guys make your way into this forest. And as you do, go ahead and give me some perception checks, or somebody can take the help action and get a perception check with advantage.
I help you, Logus.
It's a 4 and a 17 for 29 total.
With that, as you kind of enter the forest of mushrooms and begin making your way through it, the loud clack comes back, first in one direction, then another, then another, and then another. You're confident some sort of creatures have, or whether they've discovered you or not, you're not sure, but you are for sure surrounded in the not too far off distance by some sort of creature that was, for whatever reason, stalking the caravan. These creatures seem to have migrated to the mushroom forest as well.
Oh, shit. Should we? I can put us in the magic hole for an hour and maybe they'll pass on by.
What if we tie a bit of cloth that we've been wearing to an arrow, launch it in a couple different directions, at least throw the scent all over the place? Then we can hide out in your hole.
Yeah, hole, hut, it doesn't matter. Let's just get under something.
With the hut, at least we'll be able to see what's around us.
We can
And
see out of the hole.
Yeah, but we'll only be able to see up. If we get in the hut, we'll be able to see 360 all the way around us.
It's also a matter of 1 hour versus 8. If that thing decides to sit around, at least after 8, he'd probably get bored.
True.
Your call, party. How do you guys proceed?
Is there enough flat ground to put the portable hole down? So that's another thing. It doesn't have to be like completely like.
He's thinking the rope trick hole.
Oh, okay.
Not the portable. You're storing stuff hole.
Gotcha.
That's Gigabraltar's garage.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, rope trick works then. Yeah. Oh wait, no, rope trick's only an hour. Which one's an hour?
Rope trick is an hour.
The
hut is 8 hours.
Yeah, that's yeah. I think we take the longer duration.
So we'd like me to set up a hut?
Yeah, plus we can well, I mean, they won't be able to see the rope trick, but we can camouflage or you can camouflage the hut innately.
I guess if he's setting up a hut, Renwick is going to like cut off a couple strips of cloth and like rub them in his pits and stuff, like get his scent on it and just tie them to bolts and launch a couple like as far off as he can to try to spread our scent out, like camouflage the area a little bit.
Okay, I like it. Very nice.
Yeah, Glader will probably follow suit, seeing what he's doing. Just grab like a rock off the ground or something. Just
Anybody have any meat?
I have bugbear ears.
Because I'm wondering if we take some of our meat and mix it with this poisonous mushroom I still have. Maybe we could convince whatever creature to eat it, and the poison will do the work.
Well, I mean, they were following the bugbears, and I have like 3 bugbear ears. Because I remember I took cut them off because they had the tattoos on them, but like we know where the tattoos are now, so I don't think we necessarily need the bugbear ears anymore. Yeah, I have
I
2
will
bugbear ears with arcane tattoos.
I will pull out one of my poisonous mushrooms and try and prop it up so it looks kind of like a person with crappy clothing. My costume, and put the bugbear ears on, and see if we can. Yeah, 10 pounds of mushrooms. So, just 2 of my 3-foot tall ones, and see if we could trick this thing into eating poison.
Okay, yeah, I like it. So, what are you using aside from your costume and some mushrooms? Anything in particular?
The bugbear ears that Glader kept.
Yeah, I have 2 of the bugbear ears that we cut off to like save the tattoos that were on them, but we have drawings of them, and we already figured out like what they are and where they come from. So I think it's not a big deal if we part from them.
And I will use the hat of vermin to call out 3 rats to see if we can kind of shove them in there too, just to give it motion.
Okay, yeah, I love it.
I've got a disguise kit if that helps.
Oh, so do I. But I'm banking on this creature not exactly being perceptive, especially down here. If they have blind sense like I do, they go more based off of sound and scent than they do actual vision. So maybe we could just trick it through the scent of the rats and the ears and just dull looking.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and give me. We'll call it to set the tastiness level of this trap. We're gonna call it. I'll let you deception or performance, survival, whichever you'd like.
Oh, it's definitely deception.
Can
It's
I?
gonna be a 23.
Go ahead, Blade.
I was going to give him a little bit of inspiration just to kind of help him out a little bit, but 23 might be good.
Okay, yeah, for sure. With a 23, you definitely set up some sort of wiggling, squiggling sort of bait, if you will, and yeah, it you do a pretty decent job of setting up the rats and the mushrooms together. Looks like one good chomp will get some pretty poisonous mushrooms and maybe a mouthful of magic rats as well.
Is that HUD up?
Yeah, I would imagine Blade would have been working on that kind of in the background, seeing this hut kind of made of stone kind of emerging from the ground, this tannish hut.
Okay, and for I know you've already hit me with it once or twice, but can you give me the language of that one more time?
Absolutely. Let me just pull it up here. Third level. 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration, which is 8 hours. The spell ends if you leave its area. 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with you. The spell fails if its area includes a larger creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects within the dome, when you cast this spell, can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be casted through it. The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry, regardless of the weather outside. Until the spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside and of any color you choose, but it is transparent from the inside.
So it's just one solid, like, say, stone, say, like a rock color that you're going for as far as, like, outside looking in?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to blend as much as I could.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you do a bang-up job and manage to match the terrain expertly. So, as you guys pile into this dome, anything in particular you guys would like to do as you kind of set this bait out and wait?
Logus would have definitely been trying to keep an eye out, um, trying to get a first look on whatever comes over them hills looking for us.
Yeah, Glader's also very curious. He's probably just going to be sitting down, uh, looking at our nice little bait trap that we laid, and I guess like polishing his weapons and to pass the time, but just trying to see what's been coming for him.
Blade is going to bust out his playing card set and maybe play some cards with Archie.
Would I maybe get a sense that did they? Because we were pretty stealthy. Did they always know where we were at, or did they like kind of change directions when Gladier was fumbling and stumbling towards the end?
Ooh, this would be, you're kind of trying to compare a creature that you don't really know a lot about with something that, from the surface world that acts similar. So we'll call it a survival or a nature check.
Oh, 100% survival. 13 plus 8 for 21.
It would seem like the caravan arriving at the hive towers dissuaded whatever this was from engaging. So it would appear that maybe they just disengaged and that you and them happened to just go in the same direction.
Okay, so they weren't necessarily hunting us per se. We just kind of happened upon them by accident.
Correct.
Should I maybe get up high on the walls, maybe look down to maybe get a better idea what these things are? Or is that silly? I should probably stay put. Maybe I'm overthinking things too much.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to be out there by yourself when whatever potentially shows up pops out.
So as you guys kind of huddle in, and Blade plays a round of cards or two with Archie, after a few moments, the clacking, you guys hear in more rapid succession, closer, approaching, from one direction, and then another, and then another. And before long, you guys are kind of staring out as several creatures approach your baited area. Several large creatures that, as they come crashing through the area, stones break underfoot. These large, like mushrooms, seem to like bend and sway in their weight as they come marching by. But these large, like hooked hand carapace, like a very hard beetle-like carapace with a beak-like face, this hook horror, as they are referred to, is hunting in a pack. There are 7, maybe 8 of them, and they come in close. You guys get a real good look at these hook horrors, and they are ferocious. They are large predators in the Underdark. Fierce ones at that. They kind of have a bit of a squabble over who gets to go for the bait, and one of the bigger ones thoroughly tosses another through the air, crashing through the air, smashing into one of these large mushrooms and snapping it in half. As this monster, with one fell swipe, takes this pile of rats and mushrooms, and it's barely even a mouthful. Eats the entire disguise, mushrooms, rats, and all, and seems otherwise unaffected. They sniff the air. They clack. The loud clacking you had been hearing is in fact these creatures communicating back and forth, but uniquely. They crash their large hooks into their own shells and carapaces, and each sound is distinct, unique. They're conversing. They are looking for you, for sure. They spread out and look about. And in their way, they kind of like scan the area. Let me make a dice roll real quick. Oh, lucky you guys! I rolled garbage today too. I'm in Blades territory. I roll out of 2s tonight. So they do not seem to find your dome. They sniff at it. One of them maybe leans up against the outside, scratching its carapace. They are rooting around the dirt. They are flexing these mushrooms to the point where you hear them bend and creak and crack. And then chaos erupts out of nowhere. One of these hook horrors gets a little too friendly with one of these mushroom trees, and it immediately sprouts arms and eyes, and several others do as well, and combat begins all around you. These massive tree-like myconid humanoids just smashing into these large, hard carapace, like chitin-covered creatures, and their beaks and claws flail. Bits of fungi get flailed and thrown through the air as these massive myconids just pummel these beasts, and it comes to a standstill. This herd of hunters, this hook horrors, kind of screech and claw at their enemies, but eventually see that they are outmatched and flee. And those fallen comrades, these large tree-like entities, look over to them, pick them up, and throw them over their shoulder, and begin walking deep into the mushroom forest. As large as these creatures are, the hook horrors themselves are 12 feet or so. The myconids are every bit as tall, and surprisingly enough, they move with no noise. These large creatures are completely silent as they just, fall into the foliage of the mushrooms all around them. You guys are left in this kind of like chaos, a shock of the situation. This massive battle just kind of erupted all around you. Yet, you are unnoticed.
Well, that was exciting. Do we camp here until this hut is done, since our last rest got interrupted? Or do we just keep pushing on now?
Well, there's no point in wasting a spell, and we run the risk of y'all becoming exhausted. We're already here, might as well hunker down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also definitely on board for getting nowhere near those mushrooms. So if we just want to chill for a bit and not fuck with that.
Yeah, it's probably best we let them pass and then be on our way.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Little Chris will lay down and shut his eyes and take a nap.
Yeah, I think Glader's going to sleep pretty quick too because he didn't get a full rest last night.
Okay, yeah, for sure. The party definitely beds down within the safety of Blade's spell, and you guys finally catch yourselves a bit of a long rest. As you guys sleep, mostly uneventful. Renwick and Locris. Renwick, you have dreams of drowning. You, for as much as you can, you do get your long rest, but you consistently have dreams where you're just surrounded by bubbles and you can't get any air and you're sinking into the darkness and there is just nothing you can do about it. Locris, on the other hand, you dream about the same scene over and over again. You watch Jurassic Riven bound by magic, and a crackling whip of energy strike his back as he roars in rage and tries to stand. The entire realm shakes, but he can't hear you, he can't see you, and for whatever reason, you can't reach him. Your guys' nights are fitful with dreams, but essentially uneventful.
Locris wakes up with kind of the dark eyes. You're rested, but you still need a coffee. Well, that was an exciting few hours. Everybody ready to move on?
Yeah, there's gonna be no shortage of entertainment down here. But yeah, I don't want to stay in any place for too long down here.
Yeah, just everyone remember to stay a good distance away from those mushrooms. I have a feeling we're not gonna be able to tell which ones are mushrooms and which ones are those fucking giant mushroom monsters.
Yeah, I don't think they'll tell us.
Yeah, I mean, they won't tell us with words. They'll tell us by just murdering us.
All right, let's move out.
So as the dome comes down and you guys prepare to venture all once again, tell me how you guys kind of proceed. You guys are just on the edge of this mushroom forest, in the remnants of a large, what was a pretty good battlefield. Big dents in the earth from large creatures bashing and smashing and gnashing. So tell me how you guys proceed. How do you guys move on? Is there any breakfast rituals in the Underdark? I mean, you guys just slept took your first long rest. You guys have any, breakfast rituals you want to get to or anything? Or you tell me.
Locris imbues his runes, cloud and fire, and does his ritual with his packed weapon that he does every morning, but that's it.
I would imagine Blade would probably just chew on some of his rations, probably not cook up anything as to stir any or have any smell go out.
Yeah, Glader's just gonna be scarfing down some of those rations, some beef jerky and stuff like that.
I would have given everybody a good berry before I went to bed. That way I could just pop it again. Since I didn't use any first level spells. That way everybody will be good for a whole day. As far as having sustenance.
Okay, for sure.
I'm gonna pass around a bead of refreshment to everybody. So basically, like, it acts as water, essentially. So just to make sure we're all good there.
Forgot about those.
Breakfast of champions. Two beans.
Yeah,
Not
a
very
bean
exciting.
and a berry.
Okay, so as you guys kind of get going about your way, have your little morning rituals and whatnot, I'm gonna say Everybody roll a perception check.
Oh boy.
19.
14.
Ooh, that's great. 4 plus 12. 16.
15.
17 for Blade.
Damn, human numbers. Anybody get 18 or higher?
Locris got a 19, I believe.
Yes, 14 plus 5.
Thank
Well,
God.
I guess it would be fitting for Locris to kind of notice this. Locris, as you guys are like packing up, getting ready to venture deeper into this mushroom forest, looking around kind of the battle zone or whatever, some big slashes and gashes in the earth and maybe a mushroom tree or two. But you do notice, a good splattering of the beast's blood, the hook horror's blood in particular, and it smells like really strong alcohol, like somebody poured out some liquor. And you notice, as you're kind of looking at this blood splatter of this creature that was hunting you, you're not the only one. A very small mushroom, similar to the 12-foot giants you saw walk off. This one may be a foot tall. You catch it staring curiously at the blood. It reaches its hand out, and the mycelium acts as a finger, and it pokes it, clearly investigating this strange substance. This myconid, kind of notices you at about the same time you notice it, and it scurries quickly behind one of these mushroom trees, if you will, but does not go far. Does not make much of an attempt to hide, though given probably 3/4 cover from you at this point, it peeks its head out with, kind of a faceless expression. Only 2 black, beady kind of eyes open up to stare as this small mushroom watches you from behind this tree.
Locris will just say to the others, all right, be careful. We don't want to be aggressive. We have a little friend watching us. Let's not give it a reason to go finding mommy and daddy.
Can can I make like an insight check on it? Like, does it seem like cautious, friendly, or like agitated, cautious? Like, how's it? What's the vibe right now?
Give me an insight check.
Let's say 22 total.
You're getting vibes of both very cautious, maybe worried, but also curious, as this little mushroom person kind of tries to hide from you guys, but just can't seem to tear its eyes away from you. It is watching with curiosity.
Oh, hello, friend. We come in peace. We're just passing through. We mean you no harm. And Lucas will kind of like bend down to its level, like maybe drop down on a knee and kind of show his hands, trying to like show that he means no harm.
Logos, go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Son of a bitch.
So you gotta stop making friends with things, Locus.
In his defense, he's been trying to kill everything tonight so far.
Let this little shit give me a motherfucking reason. That's an 8 total.
Oh, +3 for an 11. Because I'm
That's an 11
assuming I'm
total.
within 10 feet of you. So you get a +3 on saves.
It,
But I
re-
don't
it
think
really
I'm-
wasn't a high DC, but 11's not going to cut it. As you kind of kneel down to this mushroom, it flares out, and with a poof, a bunch of spores surround this mushroom and you, Logos. It kind of hurts at first. You have like a bit of a coughing fit, and then just a cacophony of voices. There's just noise. You hear 100 people talking at once, having 100 different conversations, and it's almost overwhelming. But eventually, it all stops, and this curious little mushroom stares at you, steps out from behind this tree, and holds out a crossbow bolt. A crossbow bolt with a bit of clothing attached to the end. One of Renwick's, it would appear. And he hands it to you, and in your mind, you hear this Myconid speak. And it says, "Oh, surface dwellers. I've never seen real ones before. Interesting. You're not like the monsters, eh?"
Oh man, did you swipe that off my buddy here? That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, nah.
I found it. I
Well,
found it over there. He points to where Renwick had launched a bolt.
I'd imagine like the spores kind of got him a little disoriented, feeling a little high as well. Oh man, nah, yeah, we're like totally cool. Yeah, this is Locris, and just starts like casually talking to a friend. Oh, yeah, we don't mean no harm. You've never seen people like us before down here?
No, not like you. Your high quality targets. The other denizens of the Underdark, they like to eat surface dwellers or capture them. I assume for eating. Yeah, not many come this way. Why are you guys here? This is my home. He gestures to a nice rock. He goes and sits down on it and just kind of looks at you. This is all occurring. Logos may be speaking out loud, but you guys do not hear anything. The mushroom seems to be telepathically communicating with Logos. Logos is having, so you guys hear a very one-sided conversation. Logos talking to this mushroom, and the mushroom just kind of bobbing around, happily looking at him, but saying nothing.
Logos, are you hearing voices?
Whoa, man. When you say eat, does that mean you included, dude? Because that wouldn't be cool, man.
Yeah,
It's
he's not
good berries.
It's the good berries. I'm a blade.
The mushroom kind of bounces around happily, kind of just staring at you guys, interested, but he's like, "So, why here? Why are you here? What are you doing?"
Oh, well, I mean, we're here. Why are we here, Locris? I keep forgetting. We're here for my buddy here. And I'll kind of point at Locris, and he's got business down here or something. We're just kind of tagging along.
We're trying to get to Shadowfell, and I think you're talking to yourself.
No, Locris, the little mushroom is talking to me.
I think we need to see a specialist for you.
Is there any way, like, can I, like, try to get the mushroom to prove? Look, little mushroom dude, wave at my buddy here so he knows that we're talking to each other.
The mushroom waves.
Yeah, Locris, eat shit. I'm really talking to him.
It means it understands. It does not mean he's talking back.
What can you tell me about this area, little dude? Oh, do you have a name? I don't want to be disrespectful or insulting to you.
Not really. Just our names are not for mortal tongues, but you can just call me Shrumo.
His name's Shrumo, and apparently his true name is not for our mortal tongues.
Sounds legit.
It's hard to vocalize photosynthesis.
He said it's hard to vocalize photosynthesis. You want me to ask him anything?
Well, you could ask him where the Shadowfell is.
I mean,
So,
I
Shrumo,
guess.
my friend here would like to know if you know of any way to get to the Shadowfell.
Shrumo thinks for a moment. Well, that's a question for Papa Shroom. I'll take you to him. You want to go? He stands up, excited, and holds his hand out. Come on, Papa Shroom, just this way. He'll know.
Lokers, he wants us to follow him to talk to Papa Shrew.
So the little mushroom wants to take us to a big mushroom.
Correct.
And I heard you say something about eating people.
Well, he said that surface dwellers are kind of a delicacy down here for not specifically them, but like almost everything in the Underdark. That's what he's saying. He's saying that he never actually seen our kind before, so which means they probably don't eat surface dwellers. Maybe.
Can I incite Logus to see if he is telling the truth or if I think he's gone batshit crazy?
For sure.
16.
I'd say with a 16, you're leaning towards believing him, but you're not 100%.
Okay, now Logus. What do you think? Do you trust the mushroom?
So Shromu, my buddies here are having a hard time, trusting not you personally. It's just we run into some pretty, strange folks out here who really didn't like us. We go see Papa Shrew. I want you to be honest with me, between friends. Is he gonna eat us?
His eyes kind of widen and sparkle, and he comes a little closer, and he says, "Wait, we're friends, huh? I don't know that I've ever had a friend that wasn't a Myconid." He says, "Oh, interesting. Yeah, Papa Shroom will be nice. Papa Shroom wouldn't hurt friends. Papa Shroom, he guards the mushroom grove. You be nice to the mushrooms, and the mushrooms will be nice to you. This way." And he just kind of starts wandering off.
Well, Lokers, he said that as any friends of his, Papa Shrew will not hurt them, and to not hurt the mushrooms, and they won't hurt you. That Papa Shrew is the protector of the mushroom grove, probably why they killed those things last night. Can I make an insight check on him, just to double check, since I can communicate with him?
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me an insight check on Shrumo.
That's an 18 plus 8 for 26.
You get that he is being earnest and honest, but you also pick up that this is a very young mushroom compared to the ones you just saw stomp off. This would be considered, a child at the most, So you are dealing with, somebody who's only been around for a few seasons.
So, in my opinion, the child he's a child. He seems to be honest, but he could be naive to what happens around here. So he seems to genuinely think that we should be okay, but that doesn't mean that we will be okay, if that makes sense.
All right, let me put it this way. I don't trust him. I trust you. If you think we should follow, we will follow. If not, then we'll try and forge a different way.
Weren't you told to come here by your guy?
Yes.
Well, there you go. And Logan will start following the mushroom, talking to him.
Lokers will follow too, keeping an eye out.
Okay. The rest of the party in tow as well, I assume?
Oh yeah, I'll stick right with them.
Yeah, they're just gonna hang out in the middle again, middle of the pack.
Yeah, I would imagine Blade would follow, but would just kind of be like, this seems a little insane, right?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, it's definitely insane. I think Lowe's is finally the snaps.
I mean, we're going to go see a Papa Shroom.
Yeah,
Yeah, Locust is talking to a mushroom and claims it's talking back. So believe me, we're all there on the this is bad shit.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. That's all.
Yeah. So how old are you, little mushroom? I mean, uh, are you like a child, or like are you like how does the cycle of life for a mushroom go?
Well, we roam by the seasons. This is my second season out, so one or two more, and I'll be considered an adult.
So you're technically only 2 years old right now.
2 seasons old.
How long is a season in your time? Would you even know that?
He kind of looks at you confused. I'm not sure. You use words I'm not familiar with.
So, like for me, a season would be what we call a year, and I'm like, I forget what I said in the beginning. I'm like 100 and something years old.
You're very
So,
small for 100 seasons.
well, we don't really grow as big as what Papa Shrew I would assume would be. I'm pretty much maxed out, maybe just a little bit more.
Ah, I see. When we grow big. Some of them way big. You wouldn't even believe my uncle Shroombo. Huge. As he kind of wanders through the forest, he taps a mushroom, one of these big mushroom trees on the side, and the mushrooms, trees seem to kind of react to him. They change colors entirely. Some of them bend down to greet him as he runs his mycelium fingers across them, and he just kind of happily makes his way, bobbing and weaving throughout this forest. Several small mushrooms, like something you would find in a garden. He kind of wanders by and he boops each one on the head as he kind of walks by, and each one kind of comes to life. It sprouts legs and begins walking in random directions, and as he kind of bobs and weaves through the forest, he says, "This way, Papa Shroom's this way." You guys get through like this thick grove of mushrooms, and you see this area is kind of at first it's so thick it's difficult to kind of pass through, but then as it kind of thins out, you guys see the ground around you is riddled with holes. And these holes seem to be growing out of them are some of these large mushroom trees. But as you guys venture by some of these smaller mushroom trees, you guys get a good glance in the holes, and they are full of several bodies of the creatures you just witnessed be slain, but also orcs, bugbears, hobgoblins, others. Things that have been dead for some time and are slowly being reclaimed by the mycelium. As you follow this mushroom deeper into the wood, you begin to notice these large tree-like entities. While the size of large trees, eyes and appendages open and move about, gauging you curiously as you move into this mushroom grove, but taking no hostile action. As he wanders up into this grove, there's a large opening to this underground cavern. And he, without hesitation, walks into this cavern and down into this dark, dank hole. As the party kind of makes their way following him, this hole is just, it's very damp. The walls are almost slimy. But in this hole is a single hovel, if you will. Planted in the center of this hole is a large glowing blue mushroom. It does not, while a couple of eyes open at Shrumo's approach, Shrumo runs and gives this large mushroom a hug. It bows from blue to green to orange as it regards Shrumo. This shroom is roughly 6 feet in height. It looks as if this mushroom is planted, however. Unlike the other myconids, this one does not seem to have other appendages. This, aside from being a glowing mushroom with these large, dark eyes looking forward, its only other human-like feature is that the mycelium near its face, or where its face should be, has kind of formed almost a wispy mustache and beard. But this mushroom kind of bobs heavily. And Logos, you hear Shrumo kind of, Papa Shroom, I brought visitors. They have questions for you. And he kind of bobs about, and you can hear through the same network of whatever spores attach themselves to you, this loud booming voice, like, "Oh, Shrumo, bringing outsiders. Interesting. Let us see what they have to say." And so as you guys kind of follow this, you're in this weird kind of glowing mushroom. These mushrooms are looking at each other. Logos is the only one that is privy to the conversation. But as you guys kind of approach, this blue kind of glowing senior mushroom explodes with spores outwards. The entire room is just filled with spores. Everybody give me Constitution saving throws. Logos, you've already failed. You don't have to worry about it.
Logos will still kind of walk in the room and bow. Thank you for giving us audience, Papa Shrew. Shrumo has told us that we could come to you for answers, maybe. None of my friends here can understand, but hopefully soon they'll be able to communicate.
No, this will be the time where everybody else passes and
I got a dirty 20.
As long as one person fails and I'm, can communicate and I'm just not looking stupid, that'll be great.
I told you he's crazy.
all right, Gladiator. You're the only one left to fail the roll.
Can't you choose to auto-fail a situation like this?
Potentially, if they could, yes. But they are not privy to the conversation. Unless you're going to let them in on the spores actually being key to communication.
Guys, so I forgot to tell you, the reason I'm able to communicate with Strumu was he hit me with these spores, and it kind of puts you in their hive mind of other mushrooms and funguses, and you can hear them and they can hear you. It's up to you, but that's how I'm able to communicate with them. As far as I can tell, there's no other side effects. Just you can talk to mushrooms.
That sounds like a side effect.
Yeah, but look where we are now because I can talk to mushrooms. Potentially about to die.
Locris will choose to fail.
You take a deep breath of the spores, and as kind of similar to Logos before, at first it makes you cough a bit, and you just hear a cacophony of conversations, hundreds of conversations happening between hundreds of people, and it's almost deafening before it just fades out. And before you hear the happy bobbing of Shrumo, and Papa Shroom greet you. "Well, hello there, stranger."
Hello. Okay, you're not completely batshit there, Logos.
Oh, not
Gladiator, did you
completely, for sure.
pass that or not? What was your con save? I'm just curious. Maybe not. We might have lost Gladiator.
Yeah, I think you fell asleep.
On a different note, I rolled a 20, but if Logus communicated that like the spores are to help us communicate, then I would have, I guess, opted to fail the save.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Blade, do you accept the spores or hold out?
Oh, jeepers! I'll succumb to it. I will say, "Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me!"
Ramek will look over and just be like, "We've done worse than this in terms of intoxicants. I mean, come on, buddy. What's a little spore?"
I mean, I'm a musician. I gotta have my ears for hearing. I don't want mushrooms growing outside of my head.
That only happens in stories about the outer worlds.
Those stories scare me, and I've heard of them.
Did your did your grandmother ever tell you the story of The Last of Us? Talk about scary mushrooms.
Oh yes, I've heard of those as well. Clickers and all.
So, as you lot kind of accept these spores and hear the language of these mushroom folks, Papa Shroom turns to the lot of you and welcomes you all. Welcome, strangers. Shroomo tells me you are friends. Friends from the surface world do not arrive often.
Thank you. Yes, we are trying to make our way to Shadowfell, and we were told the only way there was through the Underdark. So we do not come here looking to assault or trespass, but simply to make our way through.
You're not wrong. The Underdark is where the veil between the worlds is thinnest. The material plane and the Shadowfell come close here.
Are you able to give us directions on how to get there?
The veil is thin here. You need only truly want to be. You don't need a specific place or person rather than a desire and perhaps a bit of a ritual. We could aid in this if you so desired, but it is usually painful. Not anyone who is bound for the Shadowfell may entertain a ritual upon reaching the brink of their life. They may just traverse the realms. Someone destined for Shadowfell may leave the Underdark with breath still in their lungs and arrive in the realm of Shadowfell. It is more about the person, I suppose. Someone called to the Shadowfell could not only teleport there, perhaps, from here, but may even take their friends with them. He kind of gestures to the lot of you. But it depends on your strength and the strength of the ceremony, if you are willing.
I am willing. Let's do this.
It will take only a bit of time, but we will prepare the ceremony. He turns to the small mushroom, Shroomo. Tell the others they have my permission. Go now. And Shroomo just kind of, yes, Papa. And he takes off running. And he just leaves the room. But prepare yourself. But maybe an hour or two, we will set the ceremony in place, and we will get you to your destination, friend.
Thank you. And then, yeah. No, he will just kind of go over and whisper to the others. Well, this sounds like a stupid ass idea, but I don't have any other alternatives.
Thank you for granting this audience, Papa Shrew. We greatly appreciate it.
Dealing with you surface dwellers is always interesting. Just glad you're not here to harvest my trees or harm my people. Perhaps when you return to the surface world, you will tell others of us. Trade could be beneficial to our peoples.
Our tales of of the mushroom people who have helped us will be nothing but good, good tales of your generosity and your hospitality, for sure.
He kind of bobs happily. Wow. Do you need supplies? Are you in need of food or water? He kind of, from the earth, from the mycelium, you see several mushrooms of the edible variety just kind of sprout randomly. And, a bit of mycelium kind of comes together on the ceiling and slowly drips a bit of condensation into, like a puddle or a pool of clear, clean water. Kind of gestures, if you need, we can give you some resources. There is not very good food in the Shadowfell, from what I hear.
Blade.
Lucas, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Blade will take one of those mushrooms and put it in Gladier's mouth.
Meaty, as Gladier kind of smacks his jowls loudly, choking down these mushrooms.
Lucas will take some mushrooms and some water. Not ingest any of it, but collect it and say, thank you for the hospitality.
Indeed.
Logus will 100% fill up his canteen with some water, some clean water, and grab a couple of the mushrooms. Papa Shrew, would you by chance have any mushrooms with some unique properties to them?
Of course. Have you not met Shrumo? He's a walking, talking mushroom.
True, but what I was more thinking, maybe a poisonous mushroom that we could potentially use, or maybe something that gives you a little something extra.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
I definitely shouldn't be the one having this conversation. I think my persuasion's a -1. No, it's +0. Straight roll. A 3.
He says, well, the properties of our mushrooms are not for harming those who don't deserve it, but perhaps these are what you seek. And his eyes kind of gloss over white briefly, and the entire room, all of the walls, just kind of erupt with mushrooms. Pop, 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 as they pop out of the seemingly solid earth all around you. Some of them begin to glow dark blue, and he says, yeah, these are very highly packed mushrooms, packed with nutrients. Keep you going for a day and then some.
Oh man, we should stock up on some of these. That's what I'm talking about, Papa Shrew. Kind of fist bump his stem or whatever he's in and give him try to go for a fist bump.
He has no appendages. He's just a sentient mushroom.
Just fist bump his stem then.
he happily, tries to bend into the fist bump. And these mushrooms, there are as many as you care to take. However, they only last about 24 hours, and they are essentially good berries.
So the mushroom only has that property for 24 hours? Like we take it right now, tomorrow they'll become just regular mushrooms?
Correct. For the time being, they act as good berries.
I suppose that's pretty cool. Yeah, y'all should take maybe one or two of these at least to hold you over for the day. Maybe you can take one early morning, hold you for tomorrow as well.
Gladier's jowls smack loudly as he scarfs another meat-flavored mushroom, maybe two.
Yeah.
Oh, Gladier, thank you. I'm gonna stuff his pockets with some mushrooms. Then, thank you for offering to carry some mushrooms for the group.
Yeah, after seeing that Gladiator hasn't croaked yet from eating them, Blade will probably take a few mushrooms for himself for the road.
Renwick will do the same.
Okay, yeah, for sure. You guys kind of stock up on mushrooms and whatnot. Take a bit of a break, maybe a short rest if you need. And the Papa Shroom just eventually, his eyes kind of close and he begins to resemble, once again, just a simple mushroom, but one that is, for whatever reason, buried underground in this kind of like underground cavern. But he kind of looks like he returns to some sort of slumber as you guys kind of gather mushrooms and drink water, hang out a bit.
So everybody up for some poker while we wait?
I'll bust out my playing card set.
Okay, so let's roll some insight versus deception. Who wins the poker game?
Oh, I'll get in on that for doing insight deception.
Oh, fuck no.
Who is insight deception?
Your guys' call. High roll wins. You can use either insight or deception.
I'll use deception.
I'll use insight.
In chat.
Oh, okay. I guess that was pretty good. I'll reroll. I think I rolled a make. Oh, did it go through? Oh, yes!
God damn.
Oh. That's like 2 pairs and losing to trips.
Yeah, you got beat by, you had 3 of a kind, but you were rocking deuces and he had 3 threes. It was bullshit.
What a cheat.
He does manage to take the hand against you. But it is not long before Shrumo returns. And he kind of waves to a lot of you. Come on, I suppose. And he kind of waves to you and goes to leave this small cave area.
Locust will follow.
As the lot of you kind of follow, Shrumo leaves you over to a patch of earth. It looks like several of the luminous glowing mushroom trees have been asked to move. They look like they've been recently uprooted, but there is a rather barren patch of earth. With the spore, a bit of spore action, Shrumo kind of asks all of the nearby shrooms to dim down, and they concede to his request. You guys go from this vibrant glowing to community to a very dull, dim glow. In the center of this patch of earth, it looks like thorns for whatever reason, but a large circle of thorns has been placed at its center. and there's not a lot of room, about standing room only for the party. But Shrumo kind of explains. Papa Shroom says that anyone, first of all, one of you bound for the Shadowfell must first enter the circle. Then it says that the veil, it is thinnest here for one who is bound for Shadowfell. One may slip through the veil with breath still in their lungs. It's possible that someone leaving the realm in this way may take others with them. Best be in the circle. However, there is a slight catch. As Shadowfell is one of those realms people usually travel to after passing, the one bound for Shadowfell must be, well, in a mortal state, if you will. You're going to have to be on the brink of death, essentially.
Well, I trust our trusty Dragonborn Paladin here to bring me back if something goes wrong, so I'll take the risk.
Gladier just continues to scarf mushrooms as he manages to muffle out a huh? As he's just scarfing mushrooms, not paying attention. No eyes the dragon, typical. So as you kind of like step into the circle, Shrumo kind of announces to the party, you guys must all be within the circle. However, in order for you all to accompany your friend, he must be on the brink of death. So we do not want to get involved from here. How you proceed is your own. We will do what we can. And the mushrooms kind of like link mycelium, almost like they're holding hands, and form a circle around this circle of thorns. And they begin, almost vibrating, humming, if you will. They don't really have like vocal cords and things proper, but it seems to be some sort of ambient energy that they are increasing in and around this area. And as they kind of hum their weird vibration, we'll turn to the party. All 5 of you stand within this thorn circle. As, the shadows in and around the room seem to get longer and deeper. But alas, we turn to you. How do you guys proceed?
So I have to be near death, correct?
Correct.
Is it Locust or is it all of us or just us or just Locust?
Anyone bound for Shadowfell after death. So you can assume Locris for sure, but Shadowfell is almost like purgatory, so there's potentially others that may end up in Shadowfell.
Chris will pull out his packed weapon, look like a dagger, and slit his wrist
Locust.
across.
I have something. You don't have to do that.
No, it's already done.
You give yourself a good gash, and you thoroughly fucking thrash your arm, give yourself a deep cut. But Locris, you have kind of become a hardened, seasoned adventurer. Though you give yourself a deep wound, we'll call it a crit with the dagger. How much damage is that? Max damage on a crit with your dagger?
I'm using a packed weapon. Daggers are D4 plus 6 for 10, plus it's a plus 2, so 12 points, but bleeding out.
So with the 12 points of damage, and you continue, you don't heal the wound, you continue to bleed out. It is painful, but you are not even close to being on the brink of death, sir.
I'm gonna Locris, and then I'll heal him, give him some good berries on a healing word, whatever, to get him back to full health. Do you trust me, friend?
Don't have a choice.
Sometimes we butt heads, but I would never do anything to purposely harm you. I need you to be willing for this spell to work.
I'm willing to do what I need to do to get to where I'm going.
And then with that, like my fingers are gonna turn like black, and I'm gonna like tap him in the forehead, and I'm gonna cast Feign Death. So, a third level spell. You touch a willing creature and put it into a cataleptic state that is indistinguishable from death. For the spell's duration, or until you use an action to touch the target and dismiss the spell, the target appears dead to all outward inspection and to spells to determine the target status. The target is blinded, incapacitated, and its speed drops to 0. The target has resistance to all damage except psychic damage, and if the target is diseased or poisoned when it casts a spell or becomes diseased or poisoned while under the spell's effect, the disease and poison have no effect until the spell ends.
Interesting. Well, we'll say if Locris elects to fail the save, the spell's full effects take place. However, it's got to be a little more towards the hit point being lowered rather than actually giving off the appearance of death. Locris actually needs to get to the point of making death saves before he can transport between the realms.
Okay, while he's done, I cast Erupted Earth.
Okay, what kind of damage are we looking at here?
No, I was just kidding. If that doesn't work, then I'll probably drop. I thought that it dropped its hit points to 0, but it was its speed to 0, so it just makes him look dead. Not actually dead.
He looks dead, but the thinning of the walls between the realms just does not seem to happen. Though with the vibrating of these mushroom people, the shadows do seem to get longer and deeper and become even more black in and around the general vicinity. Locris, after being knocked the fuck out with a spell, you kind of come to a little bit later, still in the circle. But for sure prone, as you kind of look up at your comrades staring at you.
My bad, Locris. I misunderstood my spell. It just makes you look dead, not be dead.
Watching all of this unfold, Renwick is going to walk over silently, summon Polaris through his tentacle hand, and just plunge it straight through Locris's chest.
Locris, are you taking any defensive action at this point?
Nope.
Okay, Renwick, max damage on a crit. Give it to me. Throw in sneak attack as well.
Hey, make a DC 14 Constitution saving throw too, buddy.
You can choose to fail.
Do I want to fail? Is it just additional damage?
Yeah, it's additional damage because my blade is imbued with the cold from the ice dragon.
Choose
So
to fail. But
that'd be 66 plus 8 for sneak attack doubled. So 36, 44, 88 damage.
After 88 points of damage, Locris, are you still on your feet?
I'd be closer to death, but somebody had to heal me.
Well, how many hit points do you have?
Locris is gonna fire an arrow up at him.
My max is 112.
Okay, and so what's your total now? You did 88, so Locris,
88.
you're hurting, but you're still standing. Renwick just landed a good one on you.
Locris is gonna pull out his musket called Vengeance, and if he's auto-critting, that'll be max damage.
Dude, be careful because if you blow through too much of his health, you'll just flat out kill him.
He's
now 24
He'd
HP.
have to do a 224 HP.
Isn't it just his negative, like once he crosses 0, or am I confusing it with Pathfinder?
No,
Because
you
at
have
that
to
point,
double the damage.
112 past 0.
yeah, exactly. So Just be careful.
Should I just like shatter us?
All of us?
No, because that could hurt
cast
the
corrupted
mushrooms.
Oh, you're right.
I'm just gonna
Where's
shoot
that
him with
emerald
the
pipe?
vengeance. I'm gonna shoot him with the vengeance musket. Since we're
Like,
just doing
you
it.
kill shot, or you just gonna walk up and blast him in the foot, or like tell me how you
Oh,
give him
I
a
just
howl.
want to hurt. I just want to hurt him to where he drops.
Okay, we'll say when you crack off another round. This is, I think max damage with the with the rifle will probably do the trick there, Locris.
It's like 35 damage auto crit.
So as this loud bang and this a bullet passes through you, make sure you take a shot of your ammo off there, Logos. But as this bullet passes through you, Locris, you see the world becoming dark. Your friends are looking onward as you collapse to the ground. And rather than give me a death saving throw, go ahead and give me an Arcana check. Make it a good one. You want everybody to come with you.
No pressure.
And as I shoot him, I'm be like, "That's broies going against my ideas."
17 plus 8 for 25.
Ah, perfect. As the darkness begins to creep in, something somewhere hits you with a spark of life, Locris. You are not making death saves. You are currently at 1 hit point. As you kind of collapse to the ground and the darkness comes in all around you, you reach out towards your friends who are reaching down towards you. Your hands find theirs, and they all kind of unite, clasping hands as one. And before your very eyes, Locris turns into a shadow. And the shadow, it leaps up his arms to your guys' arms where you're holding him. And it just envelops all of you. And in a flash, the entire party, including Locris, all seem to become shadows and sink into the very ground itself. And I think that is probably where we're going to call the session, fellas. We can't get too far ahead of Gladier,
We should just come back, finish with the arc. Yeah, we finished it last night.
have Gladier be the one that got left behind because of the Arcana check. No. Gladier stays with the mushrooms while everybody else goes to the Shadowfell.
Perfect.
That would make sense that he can like spare the dying on your body at least or something. Oh man, we're here. We're finally in Shadowfell.
Oh man,
Nervous.
I had set up several scenarios to catch you buggers in combat in the Underdark, and you guys thwarted me at every turn. I had like a pile of bad guys ready to roll at several different points. You guys managed to evade all of them, you lucky bastards.
To be fair, you did
300.
Yeah, to be fair, one, you warned us that it was an absurd amount of enemies, but also we've been wronged in the past, and we've learned that not every fight is worth fighting. And this is based on milestone leveling, so we don't need the XP. We need to progress the storyline.
And also, it doesn't help that we were had super perception and extremely stealthy. So anything that was potentially ambushing us, we just skirted by.
Yeah, we used to be a very all gas, no brakes party, and then slowly we've built ourselves into kind of a stealthy machine that picks and chooses its battles.
Through trauma, and you're welcome.
Yes, it was 100% through trauma, but it made us pretty decent adventures so far. We managed to avoid like 4 encounters in the Underdark in one session.
Yeah, I thought I was going to catch you guys up for at least a couple of sessions in the Underdark. You guys kind of just plowed through it. But I dropped a little map in the feed. So essentially, I was running with you guys got dropped like right in the fucking center of this map. And there was, several different options for you guys to like different directions, different baddies in the Underdark. You guys weren't going to hit them all, but shit, you got out of like 3 or 4 encounters. I expected combat. I was half cheering for Logus, like, yeah, talk them into fighting these guys. This is gonna be great.
No, we're too scared.
I
wasn't-
know.
If it wasn't for that
I
passive
tried,
race-
If it would have been like 20, I think I would have gone for it. But
Oh, agreed.
oh yeah, there's like 200. Nah, I ain't fucking around with 200.
literally 35 apiece.
Easy numbers.
Well,
Yep,
too
I was
good,
just
too
a
good.
Menchador.
I figured that was something like that would happen, but well, fuck yeah, dude! You guys made it through 50 sessions. It's the downward march to the end from here. So
I like
awesome!
saying that, man. Every time you say that, it makes me sad.
I'm super excited. This is where stuff starts getting fun. You guys are high enough level where I can just throw crazy shit at you and be like, figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna get hairy from here, boys. It's gonna be real interesting.
God damn it,
United
Shadowfell is
we-
so much fun, you guys. Like, I'm fucking stoked to roll some shit through Shadowfell. It's gonna be fun. This is gonna be my favorite part of the arc for sure.
But knowing us the way we play now, we'll probably just sit back and like just wait it out as long as we have to.
Yeah, probably.
look.
Yeah.
I pushed it too hard to get to this point. I ain't letting off the gas yet.
Well, it should be interesting, boys. I'm excited to move forward. This is going to be a fun one. Shadowfell is going to be pretty fun. It's going to be a lot different than what we've been doing before. But I better get out of here. I got a few things I need to knock out. So keep in touch on the socials, boys, and we will do this crazy thing again, yeah?
All right, man.
Sounds good.
Take
Fucking
it
right
easy,
here,
guys.
dude.
Take it easy, guys.
Later, guys.